say, and by they I mean the people we're on the run from, that food is an ugly business. That food is intolerant and fake, even illegal. Well, I never saw food as an ugly business at all. I always saw it as, well, charming. I mean, this food charms you. It takes you in. It makes you feel welcome. Travel is like that. It isn't always comfortable. Sometimes it hurts. It even breaks your heart. But that's okay. Hopefully, you leave something good behind. Just don't bite off more than you can chew.
Hello and welcome everybody for another wonderful Friday. This, like you were seeing on stream, it's Chewtober. Chew Day is on Tuesday. So make sure to choose that day to hit that pledge for this amazing Kickstarter. Chew coming out, developers and head chefs at cons right now, hoping to bring this warm dish in everybody's hands. I'm joined once again by my amazing cast and even new faces. So without further ado, let's get into it. Thank you so much to our sponsors, Weave the Tale, and of course, Imagining Games for putting together this amazing, not only the Chew game itself, but also this stream of us to get together and be creative with food in a way that I love to be doing. In case this is your first time tuning in, I always go for an international kind of setting and flavor. Chew is a very American comic, so I'm happy to explore themes outside of the U.S. and kind of figure out the ramifications that the bird flu has had on everybody else. My name is Anthony, but I also go by at Prainntheplague here below my head chef title here on Twitter, and you're more than welcome to find me there. But I'm really happy and excited to go and introduce my amazing cast, starting with the effervescent ScribblingPenny and her character Colby.
Let's see if I do this. Hello, everyone. I am ScribblingPenny, Sam, Scribbles, and tonight I will be playing the vegan Colby Jack. That is all about animal rights and, just being together with their fellow creatures. So I'm excited for tonight.
Plant-based, immune, maybe from some of the effects of these more horrible plant-based, immune from some of the more horrible effects of having no personal stake, but still honorable enough to really, get in there and stand up for what's right.
No stake. No stake at all.
no stake. Without further ado, LeopoldTheJust and the Baron.
Oh. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Hold on. I go to the next person.
Yeah, it's all good. We'll go with Dinah,
back
and the amazing Calliegh Mari.
Hello, yeah, I am playing Calliegh, who may or may not turn everybody into an alpaca tonight. We'll see how things go. Could be fun. Become one with the pack.
Become one with the pack, indeed. The Pakash are not people, alpacas, whatever you call them, to be trifled with. I'm sure, I can't wait to see what Calliegh has in store with this. And next up, we'll have Cyberpunk Uncensored with his amazing Bobby, right? So our new player, let's give it up. What's going on?
Hey, I'm Rob Mulligan, the founder of Cyberpunk Uncensored. You can check us out on Twitch and on YouTube. Lots of streaming and gameplay and all that good stuff. I'm an old school fan of Chew, the comic book, and excited to play this tabletop role-playing game. Happy to be invited and be here, and I'll be playing Bobby Bourbon. He's from the Big Apple. Maybe a sketchy past, we'll find out. I don't know.
Rob is actually also a longtime fan of Chew, so it's really cool to have new and old time fans alike come on in for the RPG. If you're just into food, if you're first time tuning in and you want a way to kind of really express that interest, that creativity, or you're a real fan of the comics and the graphic novels, and you kind of want to pick them up and explore those themes right here with the best of us. We are indeed in Argentina. So all right. So the last we left off, right? We started in Peru.
Yeah, we didn't come back to me. Hi. I'm interrupting.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, Leopold. Yeah, please. Sorry, good now.
I'm good now. I had some windows and whatnot to move around. Anyway, hi. I am Leland/LeopoldTheJust. You can find me on the internet at LeopoldTheJust. I do tabletop RPG things. That's really the best way to summarize it. Social media for a number of companies, but you can you will see me today. Baron Hamm. That wasn't a very good one. Hold on. Baron Hamm.
There he is.
And Baron Hamm is a retired but re-employed and irritated about it Dorito lover.
The Doritos I can cut through steel as well as my heart.
Yes.
We find our agents in a unique position. So we started in Peru and uncovered some plots between the local agricultural ministry, the Midagri, as well as some egg terrorists, and kind of the conflict there. They were able to make themselves, make their way down south with a group of alpaca and sheep of strange variety, some showing human tendencies, others showing chicken tendencies, and on their way down south to Argentina, only traveling during the moonlight and kind of processing what happened to them on their way there. They expected to end up at Ushuaia and find a populated city with answers, and in fact, instead they found a desolate, war-torn city with caverns as far as the eye could see underneath the city, smelling of a spoiled tomato sauce, of a spoiled marinara, with chicken bodies and human corpses alike. Where we're at now, we're at an Argentinian standoff between our agents and Mugido 84 and his band of Cheep and Pakash. They have identified themselves at last as Broma formutaires, these creatures that essentially have gained the power to eat whatever they want and then kind of take the physical characteristics of those things. It has become painstakingly clear that these sheep have been eating chicken and hence have gained chicken-like qualities from feathers and balking, but even to their behavior and the differentiation of their wool feathers. These alpacas, the Pakash, human-like alpacas that have finally consumed enough humans in the city to take, to fight off against this Montero subjugation they continue to fight with. The USDA is involved. The FDA is involved. We've been blacklisted, and we'll take it right to you. Mugido 84 starts the conversation. Ustedes laburros, eso no da. No pienses que vas a sacarla barato aquí. In other words, don't think that you'll get off easy here, you'll get off cheap. This will not stand. As the agents stand in opposition to these Pakash. So far, it's just Calliegh, Baron, Colby, and of course Mama Maple as a wall here. Does anybody stand up to Mugido 84?
Colby sort of looks. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that during the awkward silence, my character breaks it with the opening of a Dorito bag. Doesn't say anything.
It crinkles. You can see his alpaca eyes kind of twitching. Right. I'm sorry. How could you eat now? What could possibly...
Always hungry.
hungry, but you just ate. You know, you had like a ton of media lunas outside. You know, we try to feed you pretty well.
If I'm not eating a Dorito, something's wrong. That's all you need to know.
So, do you kind of do you move closer to him? Do you kind of get in his face and kind of put yourself in between the group, or how do you sort of take charge of the situation? Remember, you're surrounded at this point in a deep, dark, dank cave underground of a formation of limestone and sewer, covered in this marinara, this rotten marinara.
Yeah. After munching on a Dorito, it pulls out like a perfect one, and it just like glistens like a blade in the sun.
Back off, or I'll use it.
Okay. The Pakash is going to look at you and kind of dredge something from the marinara, and you can see the different the Cheep as the Cheep pull back, bleat cheeping, kind of squeezing their way to the back of the room as these Pakash start to kind of hop in. They start to remove different things from the barrier, and you worry about what they could possibly be using against you.
Callie still has her 69 special, her little cricket out. It's like no bigger than the palm of her hand. Now, we just spent 2 months with y'all. What makes you think we're just gonna hurt you now?
Okay, that's how we feel, but at the same time, we can't let you go. And the Pakash each pull out old Soviet tech, old tech used by the egg terrorists, and you kind of see the egg logo on it. And so somehow this other faction that you've seen, right, immediately makes itself clear as arming not just the people of Latin America, but also the people of the fluffy people of Latin America. They each pulled out like MG40s, old AK-47s and 74 Us, and they kind of have it on the back of their humps, or at least like back humps, but creating a little hump, kind of aiming at you. I'm sorry. This won't stand.
Now,
He,
why
like,
exactly
raises
won't
his-
you let us go if we are not your enemy?
Because you haven't made it clear that you're willing to fight with them, right, against us. You've seen the terror that we've wrought, and we've already tussled in this blood. Look at you, covered in the marinara. Would you either
I'm
check that
not.
blood
Baron is.
yeah, Baron is, right? Yeah, from falling in there, right? Pointing over to Baron.
Yep.
covered in this
And he's not happy
coagulated.
about
Baron dropped me in it.
It was an accident.
So we have 2 knocked out Yakuza members, who were too scared to do their job and kind of taken down. We have Colby and Baron in this coagulated meat sauce. He raises his hooves, and before he can kind of swipe down, right, to give the order to fire, a separate Mugido, another Fluffy, kind of lunges forward and uses both front arms, legs, but now arms at this point, to tear it away. Unfortunately, a couple of bullets do go off. Mama Maple, caught in the crossfire, does take a couple of bullets right to the leg. Now remember, Mama Maple is a very respected woman of older variety, and this might not be the easiest thing for her to handle. She falls to the coagulated blood almost instantaneously, and covered in this cursed pasta, this absolutely cursed pasta sauce. You hear some rumbling from upstairs as the gunshots go off. It seems like somebody else was observing, was looking about what's happening. Down the stair, runs this figure of high-haired variety and open chest. Please introduce yourselves, Bobby.
Am I walking up, running by the rest of the team can now see me coming in?
Yeah, so you're walking on along, kind of entering the room. It's quiet, nothing but the sound of crinkling Doritos bags. As you as you come on by.
Hey, what's going on in here?
Well,
What's everybody up to in here?
We're just trying to convince these Pakash not to shoot at us anymore.
Watch out for that sauce. It's not for you.
Yeah, you do see your agents to the right, and these like 30 Pakash, each with their own variety of weaponry attached to their back harnesses, kind of all turning to you.
Do we even have time for this new guy? As Colby's like rushing over to Mama Maple.
Of course. Yelling in agony, but taking like a champ.
Oh,
Sit
hold
here
up. Let's
by
all calm
the
down.
agency.
So
Everybody calm down.
I'll also go over to Mama Maple. I'll pull out. You said she's basically already covered in whatever this is on the ground.
Oh yeah, in the cursed pasta sauce. Yeah, got a full face, of the coagulated marinara. Unfortunate, but not exactly, dangerous, not necessarily toxic, but maybe to the soul.
So what I'll do first is I'll flip her over onto her back with Colby's help, so she's not face down in it. And I'll start pulling stuff out of my bag and my pockets, and I'm gonna go full PETA in the Hunger Games, and I'm gonna start making her look like this pasta.
While that's happening, go ahead.
I'm sorry. So you wanna like camouflage her in the pasta sauce and kind of
Yes, because there's no way I can carry her.
Oh man, so she enters the forbidden cocoon of this pasta sauce, and you have enough of an air bubble, that she's able to stay safe the entire time, unconscious as she is, now passed out from the pain. This is fairly easy to do, as the rest of the Pakash's attention, including Mugido 84's, is directly on Bobby, and it's definitely, she's wrapped up. You feel confident about that. Bobby. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, and at this moment I'm still working with them, right? So like they're all looking at me
so
in a more of a partner way, not a who the hell is this guy way, correct?
This is true.
So
so the Mugido 84 says, hey, we thought we took care of all you Yakuza. I don't, and Mugido 84 says like, Bobby, I thought that we took care of you back a couple miles out east. I don't understand what you're doing here.
I think you might be a little bit mistaken.
Mugido 84 turns his back to you, and he's like, listen, I fired once, and I didn't really mean to fire, okay? Now, someone got hurt, but that doesn't mean the rest of you have to. Calliegh, you were right. We don't have to be enemies here. Bobby, I don't trust, your family and the people you fight with, but you know what? If you made it out, if we couldn't take you out, I guess it seems like you might be more of a assistance than you were in the past.
Yeah, well, I think you probably most likely underestimated me, and I'm back. So, deal with it.
Now, technically, in the current state that you are in, Mr. What I gave him a name. I don't remember what I gave him.
The
Oh,
fluffy.
Martine, you know, right now you are currently an alpaca. Animals do not fall under my jurisdiction. What animals do are what animals will do.
But he is a talking animal.
Yeah, that is
But
a
if
bit
we don't
different
want to
than
fight them,
normal animal.
Colby, he is an animal. Do you want to fight this animal?
But I don't want to fight any animals, so
Then we need to find whatever loopholes we can, love.
I fought a bear once.
I can actually
Why?
see that.
Colby is looking at Bobby, just like very confused at where this individual came from. Because didn't they find out that, or the Pakash alluded to eating the other two Yakuza members that were outside, didn't they?
So yeah, for a little bit of context, and here on the cork board, right? Essentially, Montero allied with the Yakuza, right? To as they usually do, to prepare some bodyguards and backup for their expeditions in Ushuaia and El Tierra del Fuego, kind of south of the Tierra del Fuego, south of Ushuaia, as a national park for where the lab was. For the most part, the Yakuza was expecting to continue working with these Pakash, but things have not, gone so great for the Yakuza as the Pakash continue to eat voraciously the people of the city until really they were the only ones left. And finally, when they were unable to really continue, they went after them as well. Bobby seems to be one of the last Yakuza that's made it out, and for that they respect, his strength. Not saying that it makes it right, but they seem to be a little passive for now.
As long as the son of a bitch isn't working with the USDA, I ain't got no problem with him then.
Mujido84 says, exactly. It's the USDA that caused all this. The terrible chicken at Pollo Terrible. They killed so many of my Cheep. Killed so many of my Pakash. Why do you think we only travel at night? Because they only travel during the day. They only sleep for 6-7 hours. The rest of the time swarming. And he's like clearly having this this episode where he's losing it about he's almost aiming at chicken bodies in the marinara.
Hey, calm down. Eat one of these.
And I hand him the best Dorito in the bag. I like fish around for it a bit.
Now, you see, we have a common enemy here. We can talk this out without using guns or violence against each other. Am I right?
Calliegh,
I mean, the guns and violence is kind of fun, if I'm being honest, but yeah, safer than the other thing.
We're outnumbered, Baron.
Oh yeah.
He seems a little. Sorry, yeah. Go ahead, Bobby.
No, so I think Bobby would interject here now that he's kind of getting the vibe that, this team is a bit confrontational with them as well. And, showing that his history, I think he'll reveal a little more than just being standoffish with them, and probably step up a little more and say, now listen, I was cool with everything. We're all working together, but shit's getting a little out of hand. People getting eaten left and right. All of a sudden, I got nobody around I'm working with anymore. People trying to take bites out of people, and I don't like it. So I'm thinking this shit should be done, capiche? And I think this team is onto something. I think y'all are going a little bit too far over here. I've seen a little too much bloodshed, a little too much of people getting eaten.
Yeah, this river right here, that's partially people. Fucked up in.
Oh, lovely. Lovely. Yeah, it just keeps getting better.
And chicken. People and chicken.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
chicken too.
Shit's getting out of hand.
All right. So let's move to our first roll of the game. Bobby, in the little speech you just kind of gave out, what approaches do you think that exemplifies?
I think that would be probably using my probably using, I want to say charm, but it's more of an aggressive, like fed up with it.
Oh yeah, no. So it's definitely charm, right? Because you're no, I mean, you're fed up, but you're still speaking with sincerity. You're trying to, or so they perceive. You're trying to get on their good side. Would you say that this is your mouthy? Kind of running off. Is this your cool?
Oh, okay. One of my approaches.
Kind of keeping you in check.
Mouthy.
Mouthy, right?
Mouthy.
So you're
most definitely. Yeah.
So you're giving off all this speech. You're trying out for all this stuff. And you kind of overload them with too much information. They don't really know if you're telling the truth or not, even though they feel like you are. So it's definitely going to be using your mouthy. This is going to be a standard effect, and I would say that this is probably, I'd say that this is risky position, and I'd say that it'd be standard effect up from the limited effect earlier. Kind of really giving them what's for, and they can't really tell what's going on. I mean, damn, they just killed all of your friends, in the area, or the majority of them. But here you are, getting on their good side again, right? Trying to see what's going on. So, for me, yeah, let's roll charm, and so that'll be your 3 d6 for your 3 charm stars, right? Pretty strong, Bobby Bourbon over here, and we'll see if which one you happen to get, and we'll take the highest roll of any.
So
of
I
these
just
3d6s.
roll 3d6.
Exactly. Ooh, a 6. All right. In this case, no conditions, no danger clock ticking, right? You're able to, on your own, kind of really, okay, all right. Bobby, I got to hand it to you, okay? I didn't really believe that you guys, you knew what you were doing. But if you're the only one that made it past here, right? Well, it has to be for something. It has to be for a reason. Okay, I'll give you a chance, Bobby, and I'll give the rest of these FDA agents a chance too, right? Let's get to the plan. And he stacks up like 2 animal, or what looks to be like chicken, corpses, right, on top of one another on a little pile of human corpses. And he's like, "This is our battle map, right? This is our thing." Now, this is the kind of where we're gonna be taking note of what's going on, right? I'm sorry for the crude presentation here, right? But we don't really have anywhere else, right? I mean, we can get out of here if you want, but we feel safe down here, and the sheep need to feed. As you can, sheep in the back eating some unknown substance, this unknown part of the marinara, and every time they take a bite, you can hear another bark, right? One of these sheeps advancing, is in their logical bromoformutary evolution. So essentially they point out, hey, the same information they told you on the ride over. Bobby, you partially knew this. In fact, you might even know a little bit more than the others, because you worked with Montero. Most of Montero is gone, but you know that the Montero lab is to the south, near the Tierra del Fuego National Park, essentially where it's this beautiful southern tip of the world, very isolated and away from any FDA or USDA agents, where Montero can work on their kind of like consolidating and monopolizing their chicken market power. Here in Latin America, this seems to be like their base of operations. They've kind of diverted all their chicken resources south towards this area, although strangely you have not seen a single chicken. Most Montero employees you also definitely know to be out of the commission, but this one, Edwin Castrillo, as a last kind of member of Montero and the leader of the lab, of the R&D division of the lab while they were there, he was the one most closely associated with these chicken. He's like, listen, we have to, you have to help us, right? I will not stand as Montero continues to exploit my people, my family, and at the same time I won't stand as that chicken as they in the north as they continue to amass. And he speaks in these little cryptic voices, but you know he definitely points out that if you choose not to kind of critique him or criticize his philosophy anymore on this, you can just kind of follow him. That he's willing to take you south to this lab and figure out what Montero was doing.
Okay, I thought for some reason I thought because of me working with Yakuza, working with them, and then them trying to off my team, we're not friendly with them. But now he's telling us that he's going to take us to the lab down south.
Yeah, is that well? Essentially, because Calliegh was right.
I might be confused. I thought
Yeah,
we
yeah.
were all against the alpaca in the sky and because they're eating people and doing the.
I mean that's a personal decision, right? But from what I was gathering, it seemed like Calliegh and the others wanted to figure out what was going on, with the alpaca, with the Pakash, and the reason is because the Pakash didn't choose to do this willingly, voluntarily. They're kind of at the behest of Montero and what's going on, with Montero and their experimentation on these different creatures. Now, people, yes, they did attack the Yakuza and kind of edged out, you and your guys. But they're starting to see that you're not as blindly Montero affiliated as you once were, or as they thought that you were. And they're kind of happy to help help take your assistance in kind of eliminating this Montero threat. Whether or not Montero's behind what's going on is a different story, right? But
right.
They want to.
No, I just wanted to know where I was,
Mhm.
where my alliance was sitting, because I think I was confused that they were the enemy. I think that's what we went over before, but I get it now. It's because of
they're antagonistic.
Part of Montero.
Yeah, I mean they could be seen as that, right? There's no clear cut, somebody's right, somebody's wrong answer. But the Pakash, have clearly gone on a sort of genocidal streak of sorts to for revenge.
I
right?
mean,
take that particular point as you will, right?
Yeah, I mean, no matter what, whether it's a case of mistaken identity or whatever the fuck their problem is, I still don't like the fact they're eating all my friends. They're trying to eat me. They're eating people, and I mean, two wrongs don't make a right,
So yeah, you definitely convince them of your sincerity, but that doesn't mean that you necessarily have to be that way. Colby.
Oh, I mean, Colby's kind of on the same line with Bobby on this. Just these Pakash are eating people, eating the Yakuza that were just right outside and just going on a murder spree, but blaming it on Montero when it seems like they're doing this of their own volition.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be like a vegan's dream to turn into an animal and to eat people to show them who's boss?
Because
I mean, humans getting a taste of their own medicine.
I mean, maybe that's just my dream. I'm not a vegan, but anyway.
The dark path of the militaristic vegan.
Yeah. She's torn.
Calliegh just
Colby
wants to stay alive.
So look, I think we kind of agree here that eating people's a little bit of bullshit. Not a very cool thing to do, but I can kind of understand the motivation and the confusion. I don't necessarily agree with it, but if this is who we got to work with, if you're seeing a new light, the good old Bobby Bourbon, and I'm meeting some new friends here, maybe we can team up and head south and get to the bottom of this bullshit. I don't know. What do I know? I'm just a
Yeah. So still going off your. Yeah, Baron.
My character just sort of struts over like a rooster trying to dominate another rooster. And he's just like,
now listen here. We're letting you come with us. So that means you're alive by our grace. So if you get out of our grace,
and I pull out a Dorito and I throw it, and it just embeds itself into the nearest stone.
that could be you. Just want you to know that, just so we're clear.
I think
Okay,
we might be
so I'm
getting
gonna
off
offer
on the
you-
wrong foot here.
No,
Oh, no.
it's actually this is perfect. No, this is great opportunity. So Bobby's 6, right? Brought them to a point of neutrality. But here you're trying to reestablish some form of authority, right, that the FDA has over this operation. And as homicidal but scared people creatures, they're not completely closed off to this kind of alliances. So I'm going to offer you a devil's bargain, right? In this devil's bargain, you will sort of kind of put the reputation of your FDA badges on the line here, flashing it out, trying to really establish, like you said, dominance over the situation, and kind of make it clear to them that whatever happens, they need to follow by your rules, your FDA rules, right? So, and they're already, a little more open to it because you've helped them with the USDA back in Peru, right? Moving on down south now, even getting into Argentina. So let's, choose whatever attribute you'd like to use, right? And the devil's bargain will, will just make it harder, right? If it fails.
I think guts for sure.
Okay, risky. It's a risky situation. Yeah, it is desperate indeed.
Yeah.
Desperate position, and great effect.
Like a bold approach.
Using that bold, yeah, exactly. So that's it's a perfect approach to increase the effect. Yeah, from standard to great. Since you're really, it's exactly it. You're being bold. You're getting in there, and you're being, putting your foot down with the badge, as a hotshot would do. Let's see how you roll.
Yeah, because my threatening Dorito throw was directed at everyone in the room, including the accuser. All right, so I would roll 2 because my guts are 2, and then 1 because of bold.
Mm-hmm. Unless if you have a perk that gives you another die for using an approach, sure, but it just increased the effect. Is that if you succeed, now you'll have a greater effect when you succeed.
Okay, so I only roll
like
2d6 then.
Just the 2. Mm-hmm, exactly. Unless you want to dig in, or if anybody wants to lend a hand, that's okay too.
I only have 1 appetite point, so.
I should point out that at the beginning of the session, everybody got their appetite track back. I'm generally going to try and do 8 appetite at the beginning of the session.
Okay, well then, I'm gonna have to dig in, then. Oh, and some blow every time I dig. That's my decision. So you decide what explodes, but I decide that something explodes because I have 2 options. Because of my reckless nature, I can have something explode, or I can fight on par with a small gang. And I'm not fighting anyone, so something's just gonna blow up. Maybe the Dorito. Let's just say that the Dorito I throw into the wall had a timer on it, and it blows up and then knocks a chunk of the wall out. In the middle of my intimidation. So let me actually roll the dice. That would be good.
That's a fantastic idea, by the way. It's just you never look at the explosions either. Sorry, Bobby.
Yeah, this bold maneuver of intimidation. This goes out to everybody in the room, right? Like he's.
Yes, I'm basically asserting down over everyone in a rooster-like fashion.
This is
chest out.
So he's
roll 2
peacocking.
die. Yeah, indeed.
Peacocking. There we go. I rolled
more
2
poultry.
1s and a 3, so I did not roll well.
Yeah.
Can I?
Indeed. So
can I have a cool response to seeing that happen?
Yeah. So I want to hear how Baron shows off the failure here, and I'd love to hear a Bobby reaction on what's going on before I give out the consequences.
Some debris from the explosion flies and hits me in the head and knocks me unconscious.
Look at this tough guy.
Me in the back of the head, and I just fall flat into the
look at
pasta.
This tough guy trying to make a big scene. Look, man. You don't have to go all out like that. It's your world, Squirrel. I'm just trying to get a nut. You know what I mean? Everyone's cool. Just relax.
Oh my god.
You got nothing you got to prove here.
He's just mad because he's not supposed to be here today.
Yeah, I'm unconscious during all this, so you're just talking to old sleep Aaron.
Exactly. It's so comedic to me because you're just, you're really trying to level with this person, and they're just knocked down, completely out, face first in the coagulation. until it rolls
There are
over.
bubbles.
Yeah,
Coming up,
yeah.
Frosta, where I'm breathing.
But they're viscous. They're viscous.
Yeah.
They've been there for a while. They're a little chewy.
Can I lift him up
Until
out of
you-
that so he doesn't drown? Like while
Please,
I was saying that.
please.
Like it's all right.
Yeah, no
my
roll
dude,
required.
My dude, relax. You're cool. It's all good. It's all good. You got nothing to prove. Just relax. Here, come here. Pull him up out of that.
All right. So that will be
what happened?
that will in fact be three old chicken legs added to the danger cluck. At 4 is when that's really going to manifest here. I'll move a little too far south. And these chickens represent each a leg on this danger cluck meter. If one more is acquired for any particular reason, essentially the Mugido 84 looks at you and says, FDA agents always trying to step their authority, whatever situation they could, just like the USDA, no better. Keep an eye out, everyone. Look, you see, this is what happens when we put our trust.
Do not lump me in with that.
But
I was trying to be calm, cool, and collected, and find a common ground.
You and Bobby, even Colby here, being so wonderful to us earlier, that is what keeps us from fighting now, agents. All that keeps us together now is our shared hatred for Montero and potentially for this USDA that you covet. You work with Freddie Sketty. Like I said before, do not put your trust in Freddie.
I actually don't like Freddy, so we're all good there.
Right, potentially. Yeah, seeing what's going on there. For this, the Pakash and the Cheep are, very tentative about this alliance that they have with you, right? Whereas before it seemed at least a little more neutral. Now it's already strained. Be careful for additional strain that you may put on this relationship, lest you find yourselves in dangerous situations where, somehow worse than this. The other Pakash start to leave the flesh cave with their fluffy, basically bottom half of each leg, matted with this rotting viscous substance as they kind of hop out in an orderly fashion. The Cheep behind them, eventually making the circle again. Cheep in the center, bok-bokking and cheeping, and the Pakash around them standing with MG40s or some of them on all 4 quadrupedal. With the guns on their backs on these back harnesses that they have. So you have some turrets as well as some infantry. Seems to be the organization.
They're surrounding us, you said?
No, each
Circling
other,
around us?
because they're trying to protect the sheep, the chicken sheep, which are not people. They are bromoform mutares for the purposes of chicken, as a replacement for chog. So, sorry, Baron.
These words are fun to try and remember. I just want to say.
I like how he says it as if me and the new followers joining chat know exactly what all that terminology is. I got some catching up to do, but I think I got it. It's okay. We'll keep moving.
It's some
forward.
it's some fun quirks. Yeah, I love how they give all that.
I get some of it because of the Chew comics, so don't worry. I'm
exactly, and they give all kinds of fun names for the quirks. So keep an eye out for these different names. Yeah.
Before heading out, Callie wants to check on Mama, make sure if we leave her here, she's not gonna die.
I will say that the darkness of the area that you were in, it's already a pretty dark, dank cavern, but so low to the ground as you were, and kind of moving in the quote unquote mud as you cocooned your teammate, it really does provide low visibility. Didn't seem like any of the Pakash really saw you. It was like a no threat, great like no threat position, great effect kind of thing with no roll required. So you go back and you check. Sleeping like a baby, right? With kind of like an ostrich in reverse. If the ground was flipped, you can only see the head above the cocoon, and really not the rest of the body that's submerged.
I take out one of my lip pencils to write on her hand, "We'll be back for you. Sleep tight."
So you just like literally write it, you know, on your little post-it note and something, whatever little things you can do to kind of make sure that you know she sees it upon her awakening, as the rest of you follow the Pakash and the Cheep route. Baron.
Aaron leaves her with a little fun-sized bag of toast, so she can have something to eat when she wakes up.
So almost
Or a
like
weapon
a
to
saint.
defend herself.
Technically, she can eat what I used to make her look like the stuff around her. It's all food-based.
So like, you know, a Doritos bag in one hand, you know, which would be this one, and the writing on the other one, you know, looking like a saint, just, you know, kind of sleeping along.
And then I guess
you know,
Bobby's gonna see them doing that and just, all right, he pulls a White Russian out of his pocket. All right, puts a mixed drink in balance it on the hand with the Doritos. He has a fully mixed drink. He just pulls out of his pocket.
A mixed drink, huh? Funny how that.
In case he wakes up thirsty, you know what I mean?
I like
It's
the
almost
way
as impressive as the fact that I can kill people with Doritos.
I can make you look like a Pakash if you like.
Me?
This would be the time to do it. So, you know, I do want to point out that choice, right, Callie? You can do that later, as something you wanted to do, or do it now. You know, you can present this idea to become Pakash to the rest of your group, or use it as an escape. I'm happy to see either. You know, while the confusion of everybody leaving the caverns is happening, this would be a good time to do it.
I mean, I can make us all look like them, so we look like less of a threat wherever we're going. And if we need to get out, there's so many of them, they're not going to know which one to shoot.
Hold up a minute. I mean, my mama didn't birth me with such good looks to be changing into something else now. I don't want to mess up this pretty face, you know? Y'all okay with turning into alpacas?
I mean
I know we
you
just met,
still
but that seems a
Explain
little
this
crazy.
more, Callie.
So, she pulls out her bag, which has like her makeup kit. As you know, you've seen I can change my hair and my features. I can make us look like alpaca too. Well, Pakash, I'm sorry. You're still you. You just look like one of them. They tend to be bipedal as well.
Could you leave me with could you at least leave me with one human hand? So I can still wield my Doritos.
I mean, you still have your actual body parts. They just look different. So, like, it's kind of like I will paint you to look like one. But it'll look more realistic than a painting.
Yeah, it would appear as two hooves kind of crunching a chip, but really it would just be your hand like gently touching it. But it would look very dexterous from an external perspective.
This does not make any sense to me, but I trust you, so go for it.
All right. She rubs her hands together, gets out her makeup kit.
While Callie is setting up that makeup kit, Bobby, what was your reaction to this?
Just, you know, I know we just met. I'm going to go ahead and sit this session out. Y'all can play makeup, have your little slumber party pillow fight action, and when you're done with that, we'll get back to it.
Okay. This is going to be, this is important. Who else would like to get painted as alpaca? Also, Callie, would you like to paint yourself?
Yes, Callie would paint herself. It was her idea, so she's not the kind of person to not go with her own idea.
And Bobby's not going to. He's obviously too cool.
For sure.
He just met them, so we haven't even got to talk to each other about each other yet. He just knows that they kind of similarly align with the morality of the missions at hand or whatever that seemed to be going on. But yeah, he's not into it.
Perfect, cool approach. Yeah, that's exactly what I expect from a cool user. Likewise, you can also justify using cool to get painted, as Baron probably is. Colby, what is your perception on the changing?
Oh, I mean, is the makeup cruelty free, Callie?
Well, of course.
Ooh.
It's all I don't use any animal product when I make my makeup.
But do you test it on animals?
Do you consider yourself an animal?
Of sorts. I want to be an extra fluffy alpaca.
I can do that. She pulls out her hairspray that makes hair longer to make everybody look furry.
All right. Well, we've got
So
our
this is-
non-GMO alpaca.
Don't
We're
get any
good.
on my hair. Don't get any on my hair. All right.
So this is hilarious, right? On your way up these stairs, you know, where you're kind of like, you know, in between these Pakash, you know, and first, oh, I was gonna say first hat
Hat
of the
down.
day.
We need a hat counter.
Yeah,
like,
got
on
the hat.
board
Yeah,
where we
the
just,
hat
like,
counter,
tally
right?
mark.
It's
Hat
the first
counter.
one. It's the first one for today. So this is gonna be a lot of fun for me. Here's why. The Pakash have just established this very tentative truce with you, right? And they really want no more hijinks. You know, no more going on. You know, before they get to Montero, even after traveling with you for so long, as you sort of like, you know, mingle with the Pakash on the way up from the subway tunnels, you know, these cave tunnels. What's really interesting is that only Bobby is left, and suddenly there's just 3 more Pakash. Mugido84 turns to you and says, "Bobby, where did your friends go?"
I don't know. I don't have to take tabs on these people. I just met them. They're not really my friends. I don't know.
You are perfect hobbies of Pakash. You know, each of you are able to find guns, you know, in the coagulated soup before you're able to go up. You do have enough, so you really are indistinguishable. He's gonna look you in the eyes, and he's gonna, you know, he's really. This is gonna require a roll.
Can I? Is there a chance I can interject and use my sort of shady perk?
Yes, I was
of-
perfect. That's what I was wondering as well, since that would come in handy here. So this would be a good time to dig in to use 2 of your 8 appetite to roll an extra
Okay.
d6. I was thinking charm for this most likely, but if you had a different one, maybe you know that you'd like to use.
Oh no, definitely charm, but it's in that way where
Okay.
you know I'm lying to him as I see him staring into my new potential friends or whatever. I think I lied to him. I mean, is he saying anything, or what is he saying and doing?
No, I mean he's just very like confused, very scared. This is going to be a desperate position with limited effect. If you would like, please use an approach that you'd like to use in order to increase the effect potentially of the situation.
Yeah, I'll
So this-
probably. What's that?
Yeah, this is worst case scenario. Desperate position, limited effect so far. So this is not fun.
Yeah, I'd probably use mouthy, and just try to dominate the conversation a little bit. And probably interject, like if I see him staring them down and looking. Hey, can we stop wasting all this time? You're looking gift horses in the mouth. We get some extra meat riding along with us, and you got to look a gift horse in the mouth, a gift packer in the mouth. You know, just
Gift
take it for
packer.
what it is, man. Be happy, and let's keep moving forward and get this shit done, right?
Amazing.
In a
Baron.
deep voice from the alpaca herd, you hear,
Never really understood that saying gift horse. It was like whatever.
About in about 5 seconds, about 100 rounds go off as the Mugidos start to attack where they thought that it came from. In the end, 5 Mugidos lie dead, and their guns covered in blood. Whoa! Hold your fire! Para allá! You know, para allá.
oops.
As the Pakash start to fire amongst themselves, this confusion definitely increases the effect as they start to grow more confused about who is friend or who is not. Please roll those 4 die for me with the dig in there.
Okay.
Also, hat counter is great.
Oh, did I need to put?
3 6s.
Oh no, only 4, right?
Nice.
Not, I don't need to put a plus or anything.
No, you're good. In fact, and you got a crit for getting 2 6s. In fact, you got 3. So this is, it's not really in the game, but this is definitely like that ultra crit sort of scenario. So
it's just an average day for Bobby Bourbon. What?
You deflect successfully. If you'd like to say anything, please do. If not, Mujido84 is going to pick out 5 additional Pakash at random from the crowd, in addition to 1 Cheep, and says, Look, you FDA swines, you traitors. Look what this is what you make me do when I don't even know who's in my own ranks anymore, right? Always with these, with your weird associations with us, and chicken and food, and never letting us go of this system. He turn around if you care about the Mujidos, about the Fluffies. The Cheep goes, my life for you, and turns around and puts on a little blindfold and is offered a quick cigarette with its hoof wings, and kind of gets ready for the firing squad. An additional 6 members of the herd called. When you show yourselves, if it's not against Montero, I'll kill a lot more than 6. There's some more murmuring. There is like some grumbling amongst the herd. This is seemingly an unpopular move by Mujido84. Remember, the rest of them are just as sentient, just as sapient. They're worried about this.
Wait, he's just murdering people?
Like literally people, because the Pakash are people. So at least one creature.
But why is he doing that? I'm confused because I thought he was.
He seems to be. Yeah, he seems to be careless with the lives of his herd. He's hoping that at least one of them would have been one of the FDA agents, and acknowledges that he has more to spare.
So I wasn't able to calm him down and get him to ignore trying to look into him.
No, that's your ultra crit. Is that they're starting to pull away some of the support that they have for this leader. Some of them are clearly not okay with this. In addition, all of you are fine, and you also have less enemies, so things are a little bit safer. All around a fantastic play. As you outsmart.
Good. For some reason, I thought that was a direct reaction to what I did, and I was like, "Oh shit, okay, well maybe
it is, but better for you."
Yeah, I get it. Look at me, I'm learning. Hey,
Bobby is quick to the draw. Clearly, just as much as his drink is to the pour. You continue along, right? And it's not really so far down south. I'd say maybe 20 miles, 20 to 50 miles down south, where you really start to see the edge of this. Now, this is the first time that they've traveled since in the daylight. It is not evening time, and it's seemingly because they feel safe, not having seen any chicken. Right? So for some reason, they continue to be petrified of this fowl. It was like that in Peru when you first met them. They were staying away from the chicken village, and it's like that now. Showing a little more boldness as the chicken seems to not be there. You eventually arrive to this beautiful, like, temperate valley with snowy mountains towards the south, and the sea with little glacier points you can see in the distance. This is a beautiful place. It looks like something like you're in Washington State, and in fact you're literally on the other side of the world. You're at the southern tip of Argentina, at Tierra del Fuego, like Parque de Nacional Tierra del Fuego. It's quite beautiful, but it's obviously very remote. Calliegh, you have a history with Montero, right? How does this add to it? And as the chef, head chef here, want to point out, this is where you would be able to use a flashback, or to make a connection with what's going on.
Yeah, I wanted to use my memory lane perk to make a direct connection to, what was his name? Edwin?
Edwin Castillo, exactly. And so,
Yeah.
what is that perk? Just so
It is
can hear some of
called
the fun
Memory
things
Lane.
you do. Mm-hmm.
It's you can flashback to declare a direct connection between yourself and a suspect, witness, or perp, and you can always tell when someone you have a direct connection with is lying or stretching the truth.
Ideal. Actually ideal here.
And I think I don't remember how much I have to spend for a flashback.
Exactly. That's the fun part about flashback. So it's actually dependent on you. Remember, you do have your eight appetite back. You can spend however much appetite you'd like for like a different quality of flashback. So like one appetite would be a minor, relatively minor one. Two would be much, would be grander than that, and so on and so forth, right? So if however much you'd like to use would net you, just that much association with it.
I'll use 2 to make it a decent.
Perfect. Yeah. So at that point, it's like a dig in, level of appetite cost. So really solid. And you can start by maybe giving me some details about maybe what you'd like to see, or I'm happy to describe what you remember.
No. So I think Calliegh knows Edwin because he was there also giving the order to kill her fiance when Montero was paying her to go after him.
Okay. Do you invite this as your trouble?
Yes.
Oh man, this is gonna be amazing. Okay. All right.
Which makes me wish I had trouble, my old friend, but I don't.
No, but this is perfect. So you do have to invite trouble into the scene. However, it doesn't turn into a free appetite for the flashback. But close, because 2's not so bad. You know that your fiance was inextricably tied to this facility. More so, the important aspect here is that you start to realize more of that connection with Egg, and how the EGG terrorists were a part of this cell in Latin America, and how involved they are. You found it strange that Egg was providing armaments to these, to this chicken village, and you start to realize it and put pieces together. Egg provided the armaments to these Pakash, and who knows what other factions in the wake of the bird flu and their espousing of the bird flu lie here in Latin America. Your fiance worked at this particular park, and although he did not share the full location with you, you do remember the physical characteristics that your fiance spoke about and told you in correspondence and whatever clearance that they were allowed to tell you. Something that they made clear in their correspondence to you, or whenever you got to see them, was how scared he felt about Edwin. That Edwin seemed to be under a ton of stress, and that it had to do with Raymond Montero, the CEO and president of the Montero Corporation, about how he pushed this expansion in Latin America, forcing unnecessary pressures on this regional director of Montero. Before the flu, he was just an R&D guy, coming up with healthy, sometimes even vegan solutions to the chicken problem, without a flu, just trying to get people fed. And this change and this pivot by Montero completely disorganized and revamped his take on what was going on. One of the last things you remember is your fiance telling you about how Edwin put time, money, and trust into Egg terrorists and the Yakuza separately as a sort of backup and insurance, potentially to use against one another or to use in tandem against a larger threat. You realize that there's some, that whether this be about somebody that you've heard about or not, there's something that everybody is clearly worried about and has known for a very long time. Some contingency is being planned for, and Edwin is sticking to it. So that's your connection with Edwin. In addition, because of your memory lane, you'll have a direct connection, and you'll be able to know if he's lying or stretching the truth even at all, right? So that's That's great. Hey, yeah, Frank, for joining on in. So essentially, we're in Argentina right now as we're figuring out, what's going on with our FDA agents working with and fighting some sentient alpaca who are showing people-like characteristics as part of special power and genetic manipulation by the Montero Corporation. As our agents descend upon this lab, this secret facility, with the help of the Pakash, they've taken it upon themselves to appear like alpacas in an effort to sneak in without drawing attention to themselves. As tree starts to give way to coast and gravel, no, my pleasure, to gravel and rock and stone, you start to see a clear concrete bunker built into the cliffside of one of these mountains, kind of extending out towards the coast. It does look like an old World War II style bunker, very brutalist, right? And look worn, kind of leaking, deteriorating from the salty air, and the waves constantly hitting around it. The front is like partially eroded, leading to that second layer of rock, kind of showing some of the underground structure and the rebar. It's open. The front door is wide open, completely, quiet, and there's blood stains all around. As soon as you step inside, even though the exterior is like this brutalist concrete structure, the inside looks like this postmodernist, almost like sci-fi room. Clinically white, everything glowing, bright white with LED and fluorescent lights everywhere, letting like no detail unseen. There's blood streaks all over this initial hallway, and handprints alongside the door dragging down. The Pakash stop and look amongst it as one Bobby and three Pakash at equidistant locations, keeping secret watch amongst everybody. As you're able to take a moment and kind of secretly speak with each other about what's going on.
I want to like quietly kind of explain what I know about Edwin and Montero and what his plans were for the Yakuza and Egg. Like as quietly as I can.
I'm sorry, and this is.
I mean, if we're in an area that we can do that, if it's crowded,
you guys are. No, you guys are able to speak, and the cheaping and buying of the cheap is enough to really drown you out. It's really like this sound field that you're going with.
I don't mention my fiance. I don't mention how I obtained this information.
Okay. But you do relay it to Bobby and the other two. Beautiful alpacas, one of them extra cute, extra fluffy. A little small.
Yes, extra cute, extra fluffy.
No, but
just so that they're not going in completely blind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm completely blind. You're speaking French to me here. We just met. I have no freaking clue what you all are up to. I don't know who that is or the names you're dropping. Can we let's take it back a step? Let's just hello, I'm Bobby Bourbon.
Well,
nice to meet you. We never really
I will say that
had a chance
I will
to
say
talk,
that,
right?
Yeah, I will say that you do know Edwin and Montero. But of course, like the egg terrorists, you're not particularly familiar with, and the reason to you is unclear. But it does become pertinent in your head as to why they would hire these two bodyguard factions, both egg terrorists and the Yakuza that you initially came with, right? So
why would I know? You said I would not.
Oh, 'cause you
know why that they would do that.
You would.
So why?
What? No.
I know what's the reason? Then?
I mean, no. You wouldn't know the reason why. You're just confused about why they have this whole other security force. As a question that maybe a burning question that you can put on the corkboard, that pops in your head as to why they would need two, right? As particularly important to the investigation.
Okay, but I thought I was working with the Yakuza.
No, you are. So you're working with the Yakuza, but now there's evidence that they hired another terrorist cell, egg terrorists. And you're wondering, like, why? Why are there both of you?
The Yakuza did? Or
No,
Montero?
Montero.
Montero
So Montero
did.
hired both of you. Exactly. And so you'd know Montero and Edwin because he's your boss, he's paying you. But you didn't know about this involvement with these other people that they're hiring, and it's putting you on edge. That's all.
Okay, so I was hired as
Did
part
you
of the
did you
Yakuza
know that
to do what?
did you know
Exactly.
that Edwin hired egg terrorists to potentially fight the Yakuza, Mr. Bobby?
No, but let me hold on one second though. But if he hired Yakuza, what was I hired to do?
To fight with the Yakuza.
No, I know, but what were we doing as Yakuza to fight with the Yakuza?
Oh, yeah, no, you were
do what?
defending you were defending their operation there. Think like like Jurassic Park, and the security guards. You were like a personal security force to make sure that Montero had their stuff under wraps, right, in this national park. But as the alpacas escaped and spread to the city, Montero ordered you to go there and kind of keep them under control. Really wasn't able to happen, and that's essentially why the Yakuza were eliminated. But this news of another security force to you is brand new, and you're wondering why that would happen. I do want to say, Bobby, that at this point, sorry, real quick, I do want to point out that same logic. You could use a flashback, right, in the same way to sort of kind of recall information that the Yakuza would have had access to that the others do not, right? If you wanted to recall some information about this, but if not, that's okay too.
I think first and foremost, I need to meet these new team members and at least get that initial stuff going, because Bobby's not the only one confused here. So I need to kind of baby step into that. I think if I do a flashback and start, filling in details from the past that link to this, I need to get the current first. You know what I mean? I think.
So yeah, Calliegh.
Yeah, I think I would respond. I would definitely respond to Calliegh. I had no idea. I was hired to, kind of watch out for the alpaca and the whole situation. I didn't know he was hiring some egg terrorists. Something. What?
I mean, it would make sense if he had planned to use you guys against each other, that he wouldn't tell y'all. But yeah, so you introduced yourself. I'm Calliegh. I work for the FDA.
Hamm.
And we've been traveling with these alpaca for 2 months.
It's been a while. It's been a while they've been traveling with them, crossing the.
Came down here. We first came down here. Then, well, we were exiled, so to speak, and our plane was shot down. So we've just been kind of going from there. It's been rough, figuring things out ourselves.
Yeah, I can understand that. I'm trying to figure it out too. I'm working with Yakuza. I'm supposed to watch out for, an alpaca situation. Then all of a sudden, I got no more buddies and partners working with me. They're getting eaten left and right. And I don't know. Now you're telling me that the same boss that hired me hiring someone else to come at me. I don't know. This isn't sitting right.
Maybe you were the fall guys.
It's sounding like it. I don't know what the motivation with that is, but it brought us together. Maybe we can figure this shit out.
Yeah, we're all in boiling hot water. Just a little different seasoning here and there,
I mean, I hope we at least come out al dente.
So, but you said you work for FDA? Is that's what I'm hearing here?
Well,
I mean, I guess technically we used to.
Yeah.
We've been grounded.
Okay. Oh, okay. So you're still FDA. You're not. Okay. Well, I'm a bit rogue. I don't really.
We were completely removed from the organization, as far as I know. Yeah.
Oh. Why were you blacklisted? What happened?
I think
don't know.
It's probably Baron's fault.
It's not my fault. I was forced into retirement, though.
Did you walk into the FDA offices all peacocking with Doritos and shit? You know?
No.
That's every day. No matter what room he walks into,
Yeah,
he's
they're
got a
used to that.
peacock.
Well, I'm a bit of a rogue. I don't really sync up with any agency, you know, but I'll be honest, I sold info and I work with them here and there. I don't really align in one particular way, but things got a little thick in the Big Apple where I was hanging out. Maybe Bobby took too big of a bite out of the Big Apple, you know, and came back and bit me in the ass a bit. Had to kind of dip out. Came to Argentina, picked up with some of my boys in the Yakuza, but as you see, things got a little haywire, and here I am. I'm once again kind of rogue, just trying to figure out what the fuck is Bobby Bourbon doing now.
Well, Bobby Bourbon's hanging out with a bunch of alpaca.
That's exactly what it is.
Smells like it too.
Oh, it's gross.
How
It's not gross.
close or how far are the Pakash? Like as we're talking.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we get
I'd say
them.
that they're starting to spread out as they start to enter the facility, and so they kind of thin out a little bit, and they leave the majority of the Cheep behind. So there's still like this deafening Cheep and Cheep ba-ing combination outside that's really helping to protect it. You guys are relatively close to each other. I'd say maybe like 2 feet apart. Maybe with like a Cheep in the middle for everybody, kind of like tight knit. The other Pakash are roughly 3 or 4 feet away from you. But they're talking amongst themselves about what just happened, and Mujilo 84 is kind of, seeming to be. You can overhear some comments about him like spiraling, about them. I don't really agree with him. Que ya no puede analizar qué está pasando con ellos. Like he can't really think logically, he can't really analyze the situation anymore. So he needs to kind of tone it down. They're kind of locked in their own, I wouldn't say ideological struggle, but there's some there's some discontent, and there's some worry about the coming battles. This allows you to kind of, really just have some time to discuss amongst yourselves, and you can kind of go inside at your own pace. You can think about your clues a little bit more, and try to put stuff together before you go inside, or you can, go on and see this next phase.
Well, I think that a good way to get us unblacklisted is to bring in a big fish. And that fish would be either Edwin or Montero himself, which he is probably not here right now. Edwin more than likely will be.
I'm
That's
down with
exactly what I
turning
was
in the
thinking,
asshole
Kelly.
that hired some terrorists to go against my boys.
Yeah.
See, Bobby
the
gets it.
benefits here.
Oh,
One thing
are-
I
are
want to
we-
make sure of. One thing I want to make sure of is they give me my damn pension after this. They've been withholding it this whole time.
You don't get a pension? Man, I have
No,
a
I was
pension.
forced into retirement. And then they said, back, do this one job, Baron. Promise, we'll give you your pension back. And then here I am, in the middle of fucking nowhere, with this asshole.
And points over to Bobby.
Hey,
Both of you are rogue agents, so there's definitely a kinship and maybe a resentment of that kinship happening for all to see.
It's just a
Yeah.
hot shot
Go-
versus low life
go on, yeah.
situation. Like my character is like feels threatened by his hair.
What approach would you like to use to when you're saying that? What tinges that speech? Is it your cool, or is it your
Tough cookie.
Is a tough cookie? Okay, so you're kind of
Tough cookie.
you're doubling down. Yeah, you're doubling down. You're baking your exterior crust here, making it hard.
Yep.
As you ready yourself for this, Bobby, what do you say to this?
I think I would probably try to play it cool and just counter with, look, the guy who goes the route of corporate slob and getting upset about his little pension coming at me while I'm independent and free. Sounds like you made the mistake there, buddy.
Yeah, maybe you're right. We'll see.
I mean, either
All
way, I
right.
think maybe we're getting a little off topic, and we should focus on the fact that we have a common enemy probably, and Let's not get intimidated by my hairdo here, buddy. Yeah, let's just keep moving forward, you know?
Yeah, my
Now-
apologies. I got a bit of a negative history with the Yakuza.
Interesting.
What's this? What kind of history you got with the Yakuza?
I used to work in the anti-gang unit.
Oh
Sure.
shit!
Oh shit.
You got a little bit of Mr. Goody Two Shoes here, huh? Little
Yeah,
square
started
coming in, huh?
Didn't move to the FDA until I was already a detective.
Anyway, what were you
Now
saying,
something
Sam?
else they're getting,
Oh, so, yeah,
and
that's
something
right.
else
Callie,
that
and then-
might come,
Yeah. Mhm.
that might come out of this if we can get Edwin and a Montero, is maybe the Pakash will stop just eating everybody,
I like the
and
sound
they'll
of that.
just eat what they need, like
Yeah,
any
and-
animal
and it-
needs to do to survive.
Right? And then people
'Cause
will
they were-
notice that it's not nice to get eaten.
I see a win-win.
But you said that there's like blood stains on the ground, right?
Yes, there are.
That's what Colby's staring at. It's just like, why are we talking right now, guys? I don't think that's spaghetti sauce.
I don't think that's spaghetti sauce either.
The other stuff wasn't spaghetti sauce either, though.
It looks older,
well,
but there's a lot less of it. So it's grosser in that way that it's older. So it's maybe more like, blackened, coagulated, even starting to decompensate a little bit. However, there's again, it's not a river, right? It's not a river.
Baron, was your first mission like this too? Just rivers of blood and that sort of thing.
Well, but in Dorito dust. But it had nothing to do with alpacas and this stuff. It was because I went in, ships blazing. Took out a whole crew by myself. And then all their blood sort of pooled together. Something, I don't know. Kind of came down like a river. It sort of, yeah, I don't know. Similar, I guess.
Never mind. Okay. Well, I'm sorry I asked. Maybe we should go see what's inside. Because if there's blood, maybe that Edwin guy has already been taken out.
I'll lead the way then. Unless you want to go first, Bobby.
Well, maybe, yeah, make Bobby go first.
He wouldn't know that I'm defecting or kind of upset and
Not at all.
was told that he hired a separate, so I could still play like he's my boss, right?
Yeah. Of course. Exactly.
If I were to run into him, obviously. Okay, yeah, no problem. I got a couple things to mention to Mr. Bossman. Anyways, I'll lead the way, and y'all can be incognito behind me if you want.
You are also like the only human, so
Right.
visible. So it's not like he has any particular reason to distrust you, or you're working with somebody else, right? Of course, you're here with the alpacas, and you want to see what's going on there, but he's not. It's not like he thinks there's a third faction. He still thinks it's just Yakuza and Pakash, doing what they were doing back in the city of Ushuaia. So, that's on. So everybody chooses to walk in. Marching order is not really particular here, but for visual's sake, Bobby, do you go first? If so, do you have an approach? Are the Pakash going first? Are the Pakash going first, or what? Who's entering?
No, 'cause
Each
it
of you has
wasn't-
guns.
Wasn't I hired as the Yakuza to kind of watch out for the Pakash getting into no good or whatever they were doing there. So wouldn't it be better I walk in first, you know, if I'm here to speak with my boss that hired? Am I understanding that right?
Yeah, I mean, others
idea.
have
Okay.
been, others have been going in, but with the ones that, you know, you go in, these are like, look, you know, they're walking behind you, they're timid. It's clear that you kind of have them under control. So if anybody from Montero
Okay.
spots you, they'll think immediately that you're, you know, still affiliated with them. You're coming back for them, kind of thing, and almost like a rescue. You start to hear
A rescue? Wait. A
Gun-
rescue for who?
Well, they just think that, you know, Montero just thinks that you're still on their side, the Yakuza are, and that you'll still put their lives above those of the Pakash. That's all. Right? So Montero's still...
Okay, so they're threatened
still
by
thinking-
the Pakash showing back up, coming in.
Of course, but you're
I thought you said
walking
they
in
were
with them,
all calm.
right?
Oh, okay.
What? Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
you
then
don't. I
would
mean, you haven't
definitely
seen
walk in
anybody from.
first.
You haven't seen anybody from Ontario yet. It's just the Pakash.
Right,
so.
right. Yeah, then I would definitely walk in first. Bobby would walk in confident, you know, looking for his boss, acting like he has it under control. Yeah, Alpaca, Pakash, or whoever is all just chill. It's all good.
Yeah, they're like
kinda
timid.
walk in,
you know.
confident.
Yeah, they're walking behind you, right? Keeping this line, and we have a sort of shepherd, shepherding these three Pakash, one extra fluffy, you know, little white fur, super tiny, and kind of goes in size order, even for some uniformity here. As you go, I mean, you can choose to speed up or not, but you know, the Pakash have been there for a little while now. You start to hear gunshots right down the hallways, and some yelling past a couple of the bulkheads. The interior is almost like a ship hallway, like a battleship hallway, where there's like cast metal everywhere, you know, and sort of like white tile with like this white metal wall, and you can see like little tubing kind of going up the wall, painted on, you know, almost looking like it's part of the same. And so they're trying to hide this industrial background to make it look, you know, like this sort of sleek, sci-fi, modern, but you know, they still can't hide like how old the structure is, and the bones of the structure, you know, is really just supports to keep it up under such a wild mountain. It is a little maze-like, but you're able to track the gunshots pretty easily if you'd like, or not speed up.
Yeah, no, I would, you know, go right in as if I've got the situation under control. Probably
Eventually
walking up
the
to where
four-
there's gunfire. Yeah.
The gunfire. Yeah, so the four of you kind of walk up to the scene, and you see two Pakash shooting at what appears to be a Montero scientist's like feet. Do the chicken dance! I said, do the chicken dance. And they're like firing at his feet. You know, they're like laughing about it. You know, they're like people, cruel, just like humans are. Yeah, and yeah, what Calliegh's doing right now is with the, you know, little Montero scientist doing the chicken dance. You know, you can intervene or not.
Yeah, I would intervene. I'm still playing like I'm hired by Montero.
Of course.
Yeah. So I would walk in and maybe leaning over to Baron, like you might need a little help from your Dorito action. I'm not sure if this takes a hard left turn or not, but let's see. And I would just walk
I'm
up.
always ready.
Now hold up. Let's stop the shooting. Let's hold the bullets back here. Do the alpacas seem to respond to me saying anything at all? Or are they still just shooting and being aggressive?
The two Pakash look over to you, as well as looking over, as well as the scientist in the lab coat, seemingly Montero scientist. They both look at you. Now, you've used Shady to like kind of hide your true intentions. So right now the Pakash believe you're working with them to help stop Montero, and Montero believes that you're still working with with them, that they hired to stop the Pakash. They point at the other one, and they're like, finally, Yakuza, stop him, right? And they point at each other, where the Pakash is kind of like telling you to get him under control, to shut him up, to make him dance, and the scientist is like, no, please, like, get me out of here, right? You need to put these Pakash back in their place. You're in a situation where you can choose what to happen. They both think that you're working for both of them, as a lowlife does, and you've successfully infiltrated, both of these factions, right? And they don't have, like, as far as you can tell, communication devices, so it's not like they can immediately warn Mugido 84 or the other Pakash what's going on. This seems to be like a self-contained situation. Baron, did you take note? Are you readying Torta Espadero Doritos?
I should be able to lend a hand on whatever he does, right?
Yes. We'll justify it with you, like, again, the crinkling of the bag, or whether you're giving him back up with the Doritos. How do you want to lend that hand? And if you'd like to use approach to contextualize it.
Half-baked. Just get myself in some situation. Like, stand upright as a Pakash. Stand upright as a Pakash and just start, if
you don't think about it too much.
South,
yeah, you just get in battle stances regardless of your appearance. Bobby, one of your Pakash friends, stand up, and get in this ready position. How do you handle it?
I think I would probably, step up to the alpaca. I'm kind of still faking as working with Montero, but probably trying to play it more cool and pointing out what the Baron has access to. So I'd probably go over to the alpaca and say, if you keep shooting here, my buddy's gonna have to Dorito you up. And I don't know if you've seen the caliber of these Doritos, but it could definitely take out you two, all your friends, half of the cave. I don't know. Might be time to stop shooting or lose your lives.
All right, roll me.
Could be considered mouthy, but I think I'd play it cool.
Cool. But I think that's perfect because you're being so confident. What attribute would you like to use for this particular action roll?
I think I've been doing charm. I think instinct on this one, because I'm playing more cool, which is more to my inner personality and my roots. Whereas charm is something I kind of put on all the time. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna rely more on just being cool and intimidating in a way.
So this Pakash with 45 caliber Doritos is standing behind you. Just these thick chips cut out in triangle shape, able to cut with seemingly anything. You're so convinced. The Pakash look at you as you roll this instinct. Let's see how that goes. You
how many
instinctually. Yeah, so your instinct is 3, so let's roll that. Yeah, that 3d6. Yeah, but 4 in this case because
is mine, but that's what I was going to say.
Baron lended a hand. Yeah, Baron lended a hand, so 4 total. Mm-hmm.
There we go. Not too good.
This is the worst roll. Just
Ooh, all right. So yeah, failures. Yeah, so this was going to be risky effect or risky position, and it would be standard effect, right? So this is kind of a neutral happening. Let's say here, because it was risky, the Pakash, instead of turning immediately to violence, they're gonna sort of call you both out. What, you and Mr. Weakling over there gonna gonna take us on? And both Pakash start like flexing. They're like, we've taken up weights since we've really gained choice. We think that we're actually some of the strongest members. My leader Fluffy 84 has at his disposal, right? And he sort of like does a quick he does a karate kick, bursting one of the Doritos in half. And kind of turning towards Bobby in ready battle stance. With the
am I able to?
I'd love to hear your reaction in a second, but essentially, I'm going to apply 2 conditions to you, Bobby, for for failing this. I'm not going to tick down the danger cluck yet because leader 84, Fluffy 84 isn't really involved, doesn't know exactly what's going on. But you do feel like the overconfidence has gotten to you just a tad. So at this point, you'll be receiving the impulsive as well as the cocky condition, right? Mm-hmm. And so anything involving training or instinct will have its position worsened. You won't have to roll less, but it'll just be, if you fail, the consequences will be significantly higher. Again, you can get rid of those
Can
conditions
I take a different approach?
Yeah, I mean, those are the consequences.
Like
how you respond now. Yeah. Well, yeah. How you respond now is up to you. If you want to use a different approach to finagle something else, or if Colby, Calliegh, or Baron have another particular idea in mind about how to advance from here. But of course, I'd like to hear what you have to say first regarding their display of strength, of raw power.
Right.
Yeah, I think in the flashback that I did earlier, were any of the other scientists mentioned by T?
I wouldn't say by name, but you do know that there are others. You question how much they know about whatever project Edwin has going on, or whatever the chicken is up to. But at the end of the day, these are still Montero scientists. How you feel about them after your experiences with your fiance, may or may not be positive. Probably not, but again, up to Calliegh. And Bobby, what is how do you react to this show of strength?
Yeah, I think if that happened, I would try to take a more a more charming approach to cool. I'd still be playing it cool, but I would do it less less instinct on trying to just point out my partner's capabilities and shit, and I would try to downplay the coolness to it now. I think, hold up, I think maybe you're just misunderstanding. I'm not talking tough guy shit here. I'm talking skills and things like that, and I think maybe you're leading to violence a little too quick. I think we all need to relax, maybe have a little bit of drink. Maybe I can make you a little bit of drink here, and grab some ice. Probably dropping some ice and pull out of his pocket, like as if he has ice, picking a shaker. A little bit of mixing, a little bit of alcohol, a little bit of liquor and stuff in here. Look, here you go, another White Russian. They said, take a little sip, it'll make you feel better. And look, everybody needs to chill out. Hold up. He starts pulling shit out of his pockets. He has like a beer. Like pulls out of his other pocket a mug of beer. Everyone just take a sip. Everyone should relax. We're just all getting along here. Just don't need to get violent. Let's just have a few drinks, maybe a little conversation, and we'll get over this little misunderstanding.
Okay, Bobby, what is your quirk for us, if you don't mind?
Could I say real quick, since I'm assisting, that that out of nowhere 2 fun-sized bags of Doritos land in their hands, like, to calm down.
Whoa! Thanks. Yeah, like straight up like a commercial. Whoa! Where did this come from? Like,
yep.
And they just kind of grab
use my
it
back.
out.
I've got 4 legs.
So they start getting drinks. They start getting Doritos thrown at them. They're feeling a little pleasured, like they're getting they're just desserts, they're rewards, for all this fighting that they've been doing, all this eating that they've been doing, and for what, right? For more fighting. Bobby, sure. So let's use a mouthy, approach here, seemingly, for a charm action roll. Or in this case, I'm sorry, are you just offering the drinks? Because if you're offering the drinks, no roll required. If it's something else, we'll do the roll.
Well, yeah, my intention here was to, offer the drinks in a more friendly approach, so it's less threatening, like just
Perfect.
But I was
understood.
But I was hoping to hopefully make that part of my quirk, because I do have that.
Yeah, exactly.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Mix a Cerner, that's what it is, right? So mix a Cerner, and you mix a drink so potent it influences others to reveal their secrets, right?
Mixo-Cerner or something. I don't know.
Mixo-Cerner. You were correct, right? But that's again fun words. All getting used to them at the same time, right? The Montero scientists as well as the Pakash hold out their hands and they're like, okay, well, fine, we'll make this a little, and no roll required. hence no position, no effect. They just accept it. They both feel like you're on their side, so they're both okay taking a little bit of relaxation now that they have some Doritos and a drink to go with it. They start munching on the Doritos, and they each take a drink of the White Russian, of their respective White Russians, and they start to like pupils dilate and start to go into this reset position where and they're kind of definitely open, right? They're willing to share, right? They're passive, they're docile. This would be the perfect time for any agent to ask about any secret that the Pakash or Montero might be hiding.
Yeah, could I lean into my other teammates and kind of explain that, because they might not know that that's what my drinks do.
For sure, yeah, because they just
at
look
least
like
to
that
Baron,
to you.
because Baron stood up.
Perfect.
At least Baron.
No, I mean they're already taken.
At least tell him.
They're already taken, so you're safe in the room now. You can tell everybody without any of this espionage and whatnot, right? If you so wish. But if it's just Baron, that's okay too.
Yeah. No, then I'll tell the team. Like I was saying,
Yeah.
these drinks they kind of loosen people up in more ways than one. And if you got any questions for them, now's the time to interrogate. You guys go a little bit deeper on this story than myself. I'm kind of new to what's up, but at least open the floodgates here. Y'all just start interrogating. Let's see what we can get out of these chumps.
Were you implying that those drinks give people diarrhea?
That's a little after effect, but we don't talk about that so much. we get the truth.
Sure.
We get the truth, and they deal with that in the morning when they got their little hangover.
Okay, good to know.
Might I suggest we start broad and then whittle it down to specifics?
Good idea. And if you need anybody to burn them with a cigar, I can light one up.
Baron, no.
Oh, all right.
Calliegh, just so used to his antics and just done with it, just turns away from him and faces the Montero scientist. What exactly do you know about the operation that's going on here?
Sorry, and you mean like what they were doing prior, or what is literally happening right now?
Like, I want to know I'm asking what they know about what they're doing.
Okay, sure.
Because if he doesn't know anything, there's no sense in asking him deep, in-depth questions.
No. So he reveals his secrets to you, right? And he's essentially like, well, I trust you. You look pretty trustworthy. I really like how noble you look, how elegant. I feel really safe when I'm talking to you. I'm sorry. Am I sharing too much? I can't really hold. He's just oversharing, really awkward, right?
You're great. You're great, dear.
Okay. So basically Montero is trying to take over the world, Raymond and the company separately. They don't always have the same interests and that are aligned, but usually they do. After we created the bird flu.
Wait.
After
we?
Yeah.
As in you personally, or as a company?
Okay.
Oh, yeah, a company. We're very proud of it, right? Like, it's always at our secret meetings.
Might I interject? My character,
Please.
being the tough cookie, old half-baked hotshot that he is, when he hears that they made the bird flu, the first thing that pops in his head is the fact that he can't get Cool Ranch Doritos anymore. He's very, very angry. And he's gonna just leap on top of one of these scientists like a spider monkey and just start not really pulverizing him or really hurting him, but just sort of
pulling at him and ripping
or
at
just
him.
kind of smacking him into the ground.
Yeah.
Like, what? You
Yeah, no,
got
yeah.
rid of
Callie's
my
trying to
Cool
grab at him.
Ranch.
We're trying to get information out of him.
Oh,
All right,
almost had
I'm
time.
Use your
successfully
training.
yanked away. I am also a llama still, or not a llama, an alpaca still. So
You
all
are
of
an
that was
alpaca, so it was a giant
an
alpaca.
alpaca
It was a
form.
giant alpaca,
Yeah.
shaking. shaking a person. So he like lifts off the ground and he's like, oh, you know, just like legs flabbering a little bit.
And so after Callie gets me off of him, I'm just gonna like pace with my hooves in the background, like cooling myself off, doing my breathing techniques that my therapist taught me.
What more can you tell us about this bird flu?
Oh, well, I mean, it's pretty simple, right? Everybody was eating chicken. There's too much of it. You know, and so, you know, there were certain deals made, right? You know, you guys, right? Actually, no, he doesn't say that. He just say, you know, in different countries, you know, down here we don't have to really matter. We're so far from it. But, you know, up north, these people called the FDA, you know, are really up in our shit. But, you know, not anymore, right? Ever since, you know, we have these deals with them and we're able to ship our Pulp Plus wherever we want, make chog, or in this case, cheap. You know, on the cheap, if you don't mind, you know, make sure to buy some, right? I keep my job, you know. He's still thinking that he's going to be able to work and everything's going to be fine after this. He kind of goes on to explain that, yeah, it was all just for them to sell more chicken product, more fake chicken product, and that's really, at the end of the day, what they care about. He's like, but do you know how popular chicken is here in Latin America? Like, it's everywhere. You know, so obviously we did the most logical thing is, you know, we paid other rebel cells, other terrorist cells, you know, in the areas rising up against their own particular ministries to round up all the chicken, right, and put them in one place, you know, to sort of keep them away from everybody. And in this way, you know, we acquired a chicken monopoly. You know, we had tons of subjects. We had so much genetic variety to choose from across these different places, these different regions where chicken has passed through. But now, you know, they're all gone. That damn chicken took them. You know, you think the alpacas did this? Try again, right? And the
What chicken?
Oh, of course, el pollo terrible.
While they're talking,
el pollo terrible.
While this person's talking, I'm gonna just hawk a big ol' freaking alpaca loogie and just right into the face.
What kind of
They
deal
spit
was
like
made
llamas,
with the
so that's my new thing.
What kind of deal
I
was
never
made
told
with the FDA?
So as he starts to answer, he's like, "Oh, I love spit play. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that." You know, like he just kind of like wipes it off.
You can always spit back.
Oh my god!
Oh, good idea. I've always wanted to do that. And then spits right on the alpaca. Like, you know, can't hold back. No secrets. You know, he's fully himself. You know, this person.
The familiar
Game
crinkle
hasn't
of the
done
Dorito bag.
Some shadow.
Baron,
Yeah.
hold your shit, my friend. We'll get to it.
Bobby, what did you do to them?
And Callie,
I'm
you
kind of
said that
regretting.
the
I'm
deal-
kind of hoping
Sorry.
to get that drink back.
The Pakash are just still sipping. They're like, wow. They're like really looking at what's going on. Callie, I'm sorry. You said the deal with the FDA. Was that correct?
Yeah, I asked what was the deal with the FDA. Like, he said that they made a deal.
Oh, he's like, yeah, you know, in the States, we can't do anything, right? But here, they, you know, we're in agreement, right? They stay away. They don't send anybody, right? We don't get in their shit here. You know, everybody stays happy. Everybody keeps making money. Everybody gets chicken under the table, uncooked, raw, right? Untraceable pollo. But he starts to go on. But those damn, you know, those cybernetic freaks, those USDA, right? Those women and their damn animals. Like I can't, you know, we haven't been able to. We've had to go in hiding, right? Ever since they started scraping, you know, the bottom of the barrel down here. We think it's the FDA sending them back over here, but we have no, you know, up to this point, we haven't been able to prove it. Kind of revealing that, you know, confirming that the USDA is somehow involved, right? Somehow suppressing them. Whether or not the USDA and the FDA are in league is unknown, but the FDA does have some kind of deal where they'll elect to not really go after Montero in certain areas if it's, you know, past a certain point of isolation. Chicken flu killed millions. So yeah, I believe.
How did
Over
you
time.
create the chicken flu? Was it just like a word of mouth scare tactic? Did you actually create a sickness in these chicken?
Calliegh, millions of people died. It wasn't just word of mouth.
And it wasn't just chickens either. I'm pretty happy of our avian strain. You know, it was like, you know, rubs his watch off, like, you know, dusting himself off. Like it was actually quite effective, very viral, deadly.
How did you do it?
Forget salmonella. Oh, I mean, take a look at my lab, you know, and he kind of points to this area that you're in, this like clinical lab area, and he, you know, microscopes and embryos, right, like little vats growing petri dishes. This person is clearly into some genetic splicing, right, and you know, almost horrifically combines genomes that they really should not be part of. Oh, thank you so much. Wow.
Baron, why don't you make yourself useful and just take a look around so you're not, you know, pummeling people you shouldn't?
I'll go over there with him.
Thank you, Colby. You're a dear.
Sorry, so Colby and Baron, Pakash forms are leaving to go make sure that everything's okay.
I asked him to like look at the specimen stuff that he pointed out.
Oh, sure. So who would like to get a closer look at what's going on here?
Colby will. She needs to see if there's anything that needs to be freed.
You
Bobby
do
probably
see.
wouldn't.
Bobby, huh?
Yeah, I would say Bobby probably wouldn't, because you know this is all still very shallow to Bobby, because his position, you know, obviously he doesn't know the depth of all this stuff. So as he's hearing all this, it's kind of outside of his knowledge of things. You know, I think the most important thing that he's learning or picking up on is, you know, the boss hiring another team, the you know, to cross or whatever. I think he's just trying to figure it out, but he's not seeing the bigger picture yet at all.
Do you want to ask him about that, about why they were hired?
I could, but not Bobby, but Rob Mulligan is still a bit confused. So it's like I'm trying to just pick up on some of this stuff.
It's
so I'm
the chicken
leaning
drama.
into Bobby Bourbon being confused, because
Gotcha. No, I understand the
because I still wasn't filled in. I was hoping that Bobby was going to meet this team and talk to the team first, and the team would fill me in on everything that they know and what's been going on and all this shit, and then I'd be to this point.
Oh, I thought that's what we did. I thought that's what we did outside.
I don't think there
we
was
told
enough.
you about as much as what we know.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then, yeah. All I know is I guess
yeah.
I was hired by them to protect
their operation in general. Yeah, like you were the main security force around here.
Okay.
A lot of what we
did not
know
provide
is like. I was gonna say a lot of what we know is like the start of conspiracy. So it's like we just know questions basically. But we just learned an answer.
Yeah.
Which was a big.
Keep an eye out for that.
I'm still
your booze.
I'm still
keep an eye out for that
wrapping my head around
conspiracy
it, though, 'cause,
board.
like because I don't know everybody's names and things like that. And when you guys are talking about it
Sure.
and just going, I'm like, woo, okay. You know, Bobby Bourbon's a little drunk, maybe, I don't know. But he's trying to figure it
swerving.
out. It's very confusing, just to be honest. But I'm sticking with it. But it seems like I'm hired to protect the Montero's operation, right?
Yep, that's it. This is as much as you you know, as you know initially.
Yeah. But then I'm figuring out that they also hired.
You do know.
Terrorists.
You do know. Yeah. You're not sure why yet. You just know that they have. You're unsure why, and you also do have that background info about the bird flu and who killed and who the FDA is and who the USDA is, right? That's just kind of like general info that you would know. And so you're starting to see how these things come together. I mean, that's a big revelation.
What's
right,
that general info? The general.
Just who the FDA is.
Go over that for
who the USDA is. and the bird flu
Yeah,
just
but-
affecting the world, and that kind of thing.
Okay. So generally speaking, I know who the USDA is and FDA and all that shit, obviously, because I was working with them as a rogue agent, and then I know that
Exactly.
the bird flu is kind of fucking shit up across the world.
Yeah.
It
but then
has.
when I
It's
left, all
already
I
almost.
know is-
It's already over. It's just changed. It's just changed everything, right? And so now it's
Right.
things were different because millions were killed, worldwide.
And the USDA is
unfortunately.
responsible for the genetic manipulation, right, with all of these creatures. With the
Montero is. That's what they specialize in. But the USDA seems to be stepping on their operation,
funding it.
and they're
Oh.
they're the opposite, right? They're confused as to why. They're
got
kind
you,
of getting
okay.
in the way, and that's what he was saying. Like, those women and their cybernetic animals, right? And it's kind of pointing
I
to the
got you.
USDA. They thought that they were free because the FDA agreed to leave them alone, but now they're getting this USDA involvement, and they're not sure why. So definitely questions coming up, right? Keep an eye out for.
And the
that.
USDA and the FDA don't work together or don't communicate
No.
together.
We don't
it
know.
seems.
We don't, as far as
So
we
back up,
know.
you just
no.
said.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What's up? I just said what?
I don't. I asked a question about. You said something previous, but it escapes me because it moves on too fast. You said something about. I don't know. All right. Well, if I'm hired by Montero, and I'm confused, I guess I'd ask the scientists. If I was hired to protect your operation, then why are you hiring some other terrorist egg people? What's that about?
Oh, the Yakuza are our usual friends, but we really couldn't trust them this time. We knew that they don't particularly care for food, right, or anything else, right? They're very serious, and they're always about their job, and that's not really what we needed. Down here in LatAm, we need people that can speak to the people, that can communicate with them, connect with them. Yakuza keep everything in-house. At least with Egg, we could sort of spread some of our philosophy. Because, this thing for us isn't just a business deal. That's what you need to get, right? Is that for us, for Montero, it's a way of life. We control. And that's what we want, control. It's much easier for us to tap the resources of these already overlooked areas, when we kind of undermine the government ministries and the agencies with our own, sort of, let's call it constructed war, created conflict, one that doesn't exist prior. And he kind of goes on to talk about essentially Banana Republic FDA operations, right? That in which democratically elected, governments or organizations were taken down by these overreaching bureaucratic government agencies, operating in countries that they have no business being in. So it's clear that Montero isn't just in it for the money, like they initially seemed it to be. And yet, and don't worry, these are all intense revelations for anybody in the Chuverse.
Mhm.
So that's what this particular scientist gets at. The other Pakash still drinking, still watching.
So you hired
I'm
these
still confused by
terrorists-
this chicken.
This
Bobby
chicken.
Bourbon's confused by a lot of things. Let's let me get a little more clarification on this answer though. So you hired these terrorists to do things that we couldn't do as Yakuza.
Yeah, you wouldn't do. It's not that you couldn't. We trust your skill. Just it's not in your style, right? So we diversified our portfolio.
Well, we couldn't.
Let's say
We couldn't
right?
do it outside the bureaucracy of us getting hired, is what you're saying. So it's we're kind of internal with the job. So you had to get a kind of third-party terrorist that would go above and beyond the moral dilemmas. I
See,
take it.
you get it exactly, right? Boom, and he's very happy. But of course, the way that he's making it sound, he's almost making it sound like the Yakuza are the schmucks here. The ones that get the short end of the stick, the ones who don't really know what's going on, and at the end of the day, give their lives for these generally ungrateful scientists.
Well, I'm not sure what the big plan or motivation, but obviously, this is me talking to my new friends here, these other agents. It sounds like they're hiring us to protect their operations while they're hiring some other assholes to kind of undermine us and take a moral hit to do some fucked up shit to push forward the whatever Moreno has planned. I don't know what the big plan is, but
My character's
Well,
just.
I mean,
I was gonna
that's
say
a
my
good
character's just
question to
eating
ask.
some.
Yeah, definitely.
and if I'm getting any of that wrong, it's because legitimately I'm wrong, not because Bobby's confused. I feel like Bobby would know, and I'm trying to play into that, but I might be fucking it up. I have no idea. I think you're muted.
My character's munching on some cave flora, and
Well, seems like the people that write your check screwed you over, just like they did us.
I just
So-
imagine like
But why would they-
crosshatched
why would they-
lines and
why
like
would
the
they need us to be a
darkness,
fall guy?
covering it.
Maybe,
You always need a
Did you hear
fall
me?
guy.
yeah, maybe it's easiest,
But-
given how far away
but
the
for-
Yakuza are from, Japan, probably their main base of operations. Probably be hard to send
for
back
what?
up or anything.
Okay, but I'm
Maybe that's
still not
something we
understanding what's
find
the
out.
Sorry, so I do
We
want
don't
to clarify
know.
here, like as a head chef thing. Yeah, first of all, you're not really sure as to the background, but there's no clear evidence that they're putting, like, maybe that's a confusion. They're not pitting you against each other. They just have hired a different group to complete these different objectives. It's not like these terrorists are going after the Yakuza, right? You're just separate.
Oh,
Now,
I thought
why
earlier
they would
you
need-
said that they did.
No,
That-
no,
that
yeah, that's
they
why I'm
hired a-
clarifying. No,
Oh.
it's just as a separate security force, and then now you're learning from the scientists. It was to complete jobs that they didn't think the Yakuza could do. It's not that they're sending these guys after the Yakuza or otherwise. The Yakuza aren't going after egg terrorists. Otherwise, you would have known about them, and then you would have known about your kill orders for them right earlier, right? No, that wasn't the case. They were just separate, and you feel a little betrayed as to why they were separate. Yeah, I imagine Baron Pakash eating cave fungus, and just cross-hatching, lines behind him in this manga drawing, where you can't really see his eyes, just the extremely fluffy, like bushy brows. Talking about this thing that they got themselves wrapped into, and how maybe you've been at least a little deceived by Montero and what they're using you for. Callie, I'm sorry, what were you gonna say earlier?
Oh, I was telling Bobby that he had a good question. What does Montero want? We don't know.
What does Montero want?
It's a good,
What does
it's a
Montero
good
want?
question to ask. Would you
Yeah.
like to ask it?
It's a good question. So let's just
go ahead, because I wouldn't have if I wouldn't have asked the way I did earlier if I would have been more clear that the terrorists weren't against me, because I totally thought we were being undermined and they were.
No.
So my
yeah,
approach
that's what I
think
want
that
to
was just a
clarify.
conspiracy.
No,
that was
but
a
I agree,
conspiracy
Callie-
we came up with, I think.
Yeah. No, but I think it's because I got that.
It
from
was
Ted
because
Chet
of
earlier.
what information
Oh,
I
gotcha.
had from my flashback. But it was to
When it was said that-
potentially use them against each other if they needed to.
Right.
Not that they were
Exact-
currently
exactly.
doing it.
But I think
Exactly.
Callie,
Exactly.
yeah, if that's where I got that sort of influence from, I think you would step in and ask that,
Yeah, so that's fine, right? So Callie, it says it out loud, thinking that, she's talking to herself, right? And says like, but oh man, what do you really want, right? A little bit of an alpaca bleat, is a little stressed, and it's like, oh well, that's past my clearance level. I have no idea. You'd have to speak to Edwin about that. Great White Russian though. I haven't had vodka and milk like this since forever. I don't know if you noticed, but there's like no meat around here. Like we made sure of that too. So you can't create global famines if you don't start getting rid of food sources and farms. You know what I mean? Like that are historically there for hundreds of years. But you know about that, of course.
And I appreciate it. I put a lot of effort in my drinks, top shelf Kahluas, top shelf vodkas, top shelf everything,
Where can we find this terrible chicken? And Edwin, if you don't mind.
So let's I'm just gonna assume that you said Edwin first. He's like, oh, he's down the hall in a secret cave. You know, like they'll never find him there, right? Just look for a fake panel on the wall, and just make sure to use my social security number. Here you go. That's 2703, last four. You know, and just make sure, you know, they told me to use a different one, but you know, who cares, right? It's not like anybody's ever gonna find this out. You guys are trustworthy people, right? You know, I'm sure it's great. And he, you know, sort of tells you exactly where it is and exactly how to get in, right? And so far, these Pakash, including Mujilo 84, are going down this labyrinthian structure, trying to chase down this Edwin, but you know, seemingly no way to get to him apart from the information that you just acquired. You know, about him. In addition, when you hear, let's assume that you said, you know, el pollo terrible después, right? Like later. He's gonna almost like break down crying immediately, right? Again, he cannot share his, or he cannot hide his feelings. He has to share his secrets. He's like, I sit here crying all the time since everybody left me, and I don't know where anybody is. But the guidelines say that if the chickens attack, we stay put. And I don't know, man, that chicken really, he killed all my friends. Everybody's dead. You know, last I heard, and then he kind of like checks the database real quick while he's kind of like getting rid of his tears. He checks the database and he finds out, you know, they're still in Guatemala, like a previous tip that you got earlier. Specifically near the city in a valley, covered, you know, surrounded by mountain ranges similar to the Huancaina or the Huancaño mountains that we were near in Peru, and they describe it as Quetzaltenango, which is a city in Guatemala, surrounded, you know, kind of in a valley surrounded by different very, very tall mountain ranges. He's like, the last I heard, they were amassing an army there. Why do you think that there's no chicken? Because the true prophet, the strong one, El Pollo Terrible, led them there. Right now, they amass strength unlike seen before, and Montero is to blame. We did this to them. Right?
So he's like,
referring...
like a Pied Piper of chickens here.
Pied Piper of chickens. Yeah, this guy is, you know, this guy... Don't, you know, he's very smart, extremely intelligent. You know, I know something for a fact. His cybernetics, USDA issued, manufactured. All we did was round up the chickens that he eventually recruited, right? Making sure that we got the chickens out of Latin America. But now, El Pollo uses them for war, for fighting, for preparation, and he shows you like a little like a video of like a training drill of like this extremely grainy, low quality video that seems to be this like obstacle course in an unnamed, unmarked location of like pollos with like you know, little like bandana, you know, little bandanas and do-rags and like Zorro masks with cutout holes, jumping and like doing, you know, swinging with their beaks, some target practice with their eggs, you know, bending over, launching eggs at the speed of, you know, as fast as they can, eventually doing a little bit of damage, you know, maybe a little weightier than they initially thought with some of the genetic manipulation. And you can see them like, you know, they are an organized force. They lie here in the north, waiting to swarm. This is why these Pakash only travel at night. These pollos would destroy them if any of their patrols found them during the day. And you finally have a reason for why they travel, you know, at night only. It's because they're whatever, however bad these Pakash are, however well armed they are, if the egg terrorists are supporting them, if the Yakuza is fighting off against similar enemies in different areas, you know, because their interests align, at the end of the day, they're still too strong.
Who's too strong?
The chicken.
The
El Pollo Terrible.
Okay,
the chicken army that is amassing in central Guatemala right now. So it's kind of what's been going on.
And that's Montero's army.
Colby's like,
I wouldn't say it's Montero's. he's this Montero scientist is referring to him in disdain, not
I got it,
not
okay.
in glory. Yeah,
Like,
Colby.
Oh, Colby's like watching the grainy training video, just like, go chickens, go.
Yeah.
But who is
Hup,
the,
hup,
the,
hup,
the
hup, hup.
leader, the guy, the Pied Piper of chickens, leader chicken, cyber person or chicken? I'm still confused.
The
Like, the rest
grain-
of my team knows who that is? You all know who that is?
Only a name.
No.
Only a name. Only a name.
name.
How would, can you fill me in? Would I know?
The name?
It's the terrible
Yeah,
chicken.
he said it. He said it a couple. Yeah, the terrible chicken. He said it a couple times during the conversation, and now you know him. But you know as much as the others do. Not you know.
Okay, so now
just
this is a
essentially his
separate
name.
faction. This is a separate faction. The terrible chicken and his
Exactly.
army of chickens. And
Exactly.
shit, you know, not
Exactly.
okay.
Wonder if it's
Not
related
with,
to
From what it-
egg at all.
Montero. Not
From what it's
connected to
seeming-
Montero or.
Not connected to Montero. Baron just asked a good question. But so if you want.
Yeah. That was out of character. Sorry, I'll ask it in character.
Oh.
I wonder if egg has anything to do with this damn chicken army.
Me too. Egg, whose main doctrine that they follow, really their true leader, states and stipulates that the bird flu is indeed a falsity, right? Is a lie, that they hate those that came up with the conspiracy of the bird flu. Why, then, would Egg work with Montero, an organization that may have known connections to this fabricated virus?
Exactly. They probably were trying to get in good with him to get information, and Montero's dumb enough to fall for it.
That's what I would do.
The guy
You know, you
kind
get
of
in
starts to
good
get.
with the, you know.
Sorry, Callie, you get in good with the.
You get in good with the enemy and you learn all their secrets.
It's true. So eventually, after this guy is speaking to you for a little while, he gave away all these secrets, right? Immensely important information to the conspiracies that you've already developed so far, right here on the board, here on the all important cork board. He's been drinking, like, I would say three cups at this point. The Pakash are so interested in what's going on, they've handed the rest of their drinks over to the scientist now, who's really not like beating him up anymore. They're just like extremely like eating like they have like a popcorn person, PP. They have popcorn person in their bags, and they just grab like little fried batches of people. Baked and floured, rolled in, almost like you'd get at any little chicken bucket, almost striped bucket. Start eating out of it. Very, very locked on to what's going on. He's had at this point like 3 or 4 drinks as he starts to. Oh, had 2 counter as he starts to kind of fall over and lose himself. He's like, listen, you guys have been a lot of fun, okay? But I need to take me a nappy nap now. Good night. And he like slams his face on one of the computer screens, bursting it open and slightly electrocuting himself. It's in classic fashion. He's okay, a little knocked out, sitting up, standing up straight, sleeping, maybe knocked out, can't really tell the difference. It seems good though, right? You can leave him there, probably be fine.
Maybe dead. It's fine.
Maybe.
You can, right. You can check. You can always check.
I think
So
Bobby
that's-
Bourbon would step in, take his glass back, and just whisper in his ear, "Don't die."
Just
As good as advice as any.
He snores at you, so that seems to be a good sign. After our amazing secret session here with this particular scientist whose name still unnamed, just this extremely helpful Montero scientist, one of the last living ones, clearly, right? If the purges of the Mugidos are taking place across the facility. We're going to take a quick 10-minute break for our cast here and myself, and we'll be back as our cast enters this secret chamber of Edwin Castillo, the leader of this Montero facility, to see what else they could possibly say to him. See you all in 10 minutes, everybody.
say, and by they I mean the people we're on the run from, that food is an ugly business. That food is intolerant and fake, even illegal. Well, I never saw food as an ugly business at all. I always saw it as, well, charming. I mean, this food charms you. It takes you in. It makes you feel welcome. Travel is like that. It isn't always comfortable. Sometimes it hurts. It even breaks your heart. But that's okay. Hopefully, you leave something good behind. Just don't bite off more than you can chew.
All right, and welcome back, everybody, as we get into this third act of this chew session here. So, we've made it out, away from these Pakash, who once were fighting. Now a little drunkenly didn't really get asked anything, right? So they're, just enjoying it really at this point, right? And like the kind of wore off that secrecy, trying to figure out what that was. Your scientist friend knocked out in the middle of the computer. As you walk out in the hallway, seeing Pakash patrols follow blood-ridden trails in this area on the way to figure out what's going on with Edwin, the head of this Montero industry lab. You've been told where the secret panel was and what code was there. You're able to go there now, or discuss and double back about what's going on and why.
Side note, can Bobby Bourbon just on the side make note of that dude's social security number, for future low life shit?
You go back and you really remember everything he said, the exact numbers. You're like, okay, 3 comes after the 7. It's been 5 minutes. You got it. Yeah, without a roll, you're able to write that down, wherever
Perfect.
you like.
You never know
the full number.
how many identities I might need. Yeah, I don't know. It's good to know.
There can be quite a lot.
Is he going to remember this after the drink wears off?
Oh no, he won't remember jack shit.
Oh, good. Because we probably don't need him knowing.
Baron
that
Colby,
we
did you
spilled
find
everything.
anything?
Am I right about that, head chef? They won't remember
I
that,
would
right?
say that if they drink enough to black out, I would say that it's reasonably likely that they would have some memory loss, right?
I guess-
So that's a fun hook. I'm down with it. I like that a lot.
Yeah. It makes sense because even regular alcohol blacked out, you probably wouldn't remember things. So especially if it's
Essentially-
this super strong magical sort of,
If no one stops you, right? If no one interrupts you and you just keep asking them questions, they keep drinking. They'll get to a point where they can't anymore and they'll black out. So it's kind of guaranteed if there's no interruptions. It's kind of fun how that works out. The truth elixir.
Truth serum.
He won't remember shit. You're right. So we're good to go.
Colby, Baron, were you guys able to get some samples and evidence of their creations?
I was just supervising.
I let out the rats.
So yeah, I guess we didn't really
Understand.
accomplish much of anything.
Yeah, I just imagine in my head, I just sort of followed Colby Jack back and munched on chips while they released the rats. And then it's about.
Colby freed all the animals. She will, as she's walking by where that scientist fell into the computer, turn the computer on.
You're gonna turn it on? Okay.
Yes. She wants to make sure he doesn't remember anything.
He doesn't
because
remember,
he's
okay.
dead.
Yeah, so pretty
She's
easily-
trying to electrocute him again.
Yes.
Yeah. Pretty easily with no roll, the Pakash, like I said, are drinking, having a good time. At this point, they're arm wrestling. Their hooves, right, on a corner table, pretending like they're on two bar stools, one leg off, and one knee on the bar stool. And they're really, they're not paying attention. They're like, hey, what are you doing back here? It's okay. I got more important things to do. And they get back to it drunkenly, still arm wrestling. You are able to turn it on again, and without a roll, it does spark back up. Which of your approaches would you like to use to justify this somewhat cruel behavior?
She is the wronged, so... And this is just a person. They don't matter as much. Probably either conspiracy nut or... half-baked.
Or half-baked. Okay.
Probably conspiracy nut, because he's part of this wider conspiracy of killing chickens and giving them the aviary bird flu. So he needs to be
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's perfect. It's definitely, the sort of aggressive or ruthless, maybe, cold way to look at it. It does shock him again. You give him a little, apparently, shock therapy. When he wakes up, he's still alive. He's still breathing. But when he wakes up, you're not really sure what the effects are, especially because he already got shocked. It's just double tap just to make sure. It's kind of horrifying.
Yep. Colby's kind of horrifying sometimes. All right, let's go save the alpacas.
Let's go save the alpacas.
We're gonna get into this
Fried some chicken.
this secret room and go interrogate my boss and see exactly what's up.
Sounds like a great idea to me. We already learned a lot from the lackey, but like he said, he didn't know so much because of his clearance level. And if he told us all that, I bet there's all sorts of juicy bits in Edwin's brain we can pick apart.
He might not be so easy to get a drink down his gullet. I don't know. But whatever, we can at least try. Let's go. Let's find this dude and let's interrogate him. I got some questions.
Once I show him
do
what
as
I can
well.
do to a tortilla, he'll probably run his mouth like a little girl, running her mouth to
I
her
mean-
friends.
He is scared and stressed as it is, so keep that in mind. We don't want to make it so bad to where he won't open up and take a drink.
Hell, you
does
do
it
the talking
work
then.
if we force him to drink it?
Wow.
It could be a possible
only
approach.
getting-
I mean, another thing
It's
about
only
me to
getting darker.
consider is he pretty much still considers me part of his working force. Maybe there's something to that, I could slide in real cool like and act like still working. Yakuza got screwed over. I don't know. Maybe there's something there. Maybe there's some type of angle I can take.
Should we still look like alpacas, or maybe we should look like scientists?
All right, I'm going to pull a walkie-talkie out of my pocket and
With your hoof out of your
Yeah,
fur pouch.
out of my fur pouch, and I'm gonna hand it. And I'm saying,
Turn this thing on. We'll wait in the other room. And, I don't know. Give us a signal if we need to bust in. Go in there. Make him a drink. Chum it up. Get him talking.
I'll give it a shot. Let's see what's up.
I'm
And
gonna
I'll
go
take
with
another
Bobby on
walkie.
this.
What was
You're
that?
going to go in with Bobby?
I'm gonna go in with Bobby. I know Edwin.
All right. You
And
might
then-
want to take your makeup off, if you know what I mean.
I will. Not at first, but I will.
Now, you got a good working relationship with this Eddie dude? Like me?
I have a relationship with him.
I'm just trying to make sure we're not gonna cross wires in there, you know? We're gonna hit the same approach, or are you planning on being bad cop while I'm good cop? What are we doing here?
I'm usually always the good cop.
Oh,
Can't you
okay.
tell by my accent?
Well, we can go in and be a good cop, good cop. I just want to kind of play like, hey, boss did the job. What's next? You know, get him to take a drink. But what kind of approach are you thinking?
I guess it more depends on his reaction. So I'll let you get a drink in him before I reveal who I actually am.
Oh,
Okay.
and then use the drink to figure out what Callie really needs to figure out.
Let's give it a
Colby,
shot,
Baron.
but maybe have a plan B in the back of the head in case I can't get him drinking. You know, I'll do my best, but you never know.
Plan B. I'm Plan B.
Plan B, he doesn't drink. He eats a Dorito, right? Sorry, I'm just corn dog.
Exactly.
Eats one to the forehead.
Just beaming Doritos at people. Colby and Baron, does this mean that you'll be going with them for potential combat support, or?
Yeah, the walkie-talkie
We're waiting
situation. Basically,
outside.
just
Yeah.
have them
Still
lead
waiting
the
outside with the
walkie-talkie on,
walkie?
and we'll listen. Yeah,
Okay.
with
Okay.
the paired up. Okay.
So
It says it's in my gear. Okay. It says radio,
yeah,
but I'm being a little liberal with it.
No, that's perfect. I love the usage of the gear here. So Bobby, like you said earlier, right? You remember the code. You remember
Oh,
perfectly.
you know
wrote
what?
it
I
down, you
have
pulled it
one
out.
too.
You have one too.
I have a radio, a sidearm, and a 69 special.
So there's definitely some. Yeah. Okay. So there's definitely the capacity, for multi walkie-talkie interface, right? Everybody has a little bit of a check-in post here. You're able to, Bobby's knows the code. You're able to open on, the door. It kind of slides on down as the pipes close into the floor. You walk on by and you see additional stairs leading down to another lower level of the area. Getting almost like you would imagine extremely close, if not right on top of sea level, right? So, you can almost like feel the dampness as it's like this very old abandoned like concrete structure. Even if it's this beautiful clinical doctor's office, and some areas are more protected than the other, this secret office seems to lead to like a more of a cavernous area. It is dark, and the walkies do static a little bit, but nothing that actually leads to where they can't transmit a signal until you arrive to what looks to be like an outdoor room. Like there's a cot, there's a small little terminal, a foot locker, but it just seems to be surrounded like by this sand, with the tile like on top of the sand, like uneven and shifted, like someone is trying to keep a normal life, but doesn't really have one.
But I don't see him in here.
Not visibly. You do hear shuffling, and a little bit of like water lapping.
All right, I guess I'll step
as-
up. Not. What's that?
Oh, as we were walking, I was using like the sleeves of like my long gloves to kind of wipe off my hands and like my legs, so I look like a person, but my face still has those alpaca features. So I look like I'm a person and not Pakash,
An
but
alpaca.
he can't tell who
Pakash,
I
yeah.
am just yet.
Okay, so a slightly altered version.
I'll whisper. Yeah, I'll whisper to Callie as I see her doing that and be like, "Hey, I like that. Hey, stay like that. Let me play with that. Let me see what I can do. Hold on." What were you gonna say, Headshot?
No, yeah.
I have a
So
plan- I have
no,
a
I'm
plan for
interested
that.
in that. Yeah, no, that's what I want to hear. That's what I'm interested in. What's the plan? What's your?
I'll
I wanna
step
hear
into
it.
the middle of the room. Hey, Eddie, hey, where you at? It's your boy, Bobby Bourbon.
Bobby. Bobby, is that you?
It's your boy Bobby. What's up? Where you at? I got something to show you.
Oh man. So this would I would say that this would be a role. Position would be, I'd say, in control. Because you definitely have a handle on what's going on. You're coming in here with information. You know who he is, and you can see the conditions that he's living in, right? Secretive, but definitely not glamorous. So that you'd be in control for your position, but your defect would be standard. This is someone who clearly is hiding or doesn't want to talk or is distrustful, regardless of a past history or connection. At least at the beginning, while the adrenaline is still high. Which approach would you like to use when you're kind of speaking him this way? Would this be mouthy? Would this be like a cool?
Well, I want to lean into my shady perk because obviously I'm trying to pull something over on him. I always play cool. When I typically think of mouthy as my approach, I feel like it's more aggressive. Sometimes, I think cool
so this is a smoother one.
Is more manipulative.
So it's the cool. Yeah,
I'm thinking so, yeah. Because I look at my cool side as trying to be manipulative, whereas mouthy is more like trying to intimidate or be a wise ass, if that makes sense,
Sure. Yeah, the different to guts and charm. Fun on the attributes there. Okay, so you would need to dig in for the shady.
Yeah.
To really convince like this hardened person. Yeah, so that's another 2 appetite.
No,
you still have 4 left.
Yeah, this is kind of my Hail Mary or whatever. I'm going right to my boss. I'm trying to pull something over on him just to get him to drink, so then we can get important information. So absolutely, I'm going to dig in and give it my all.
Dig in. Gotcha. 2 appetite, still have 4 left.
Yeah.
Which attribute would you like to use? It's seemingly from the cool and then manipulative as the condition for charm. Is that the attribute you'd like to use for this?
Yeah, it's definitely a charm, cool, lying, trying to play it smooth. He's my boss, but I did a good job. I'm trying to show him something.
All right. So let's use that charm, and that would be 4d6, right? Because you got to dig. You got another one with the dig in. Let's see how that goes.
Okay.
Pretty good chance, right? 46. Only got to get a 6 once.
Yeah.
Only got to get a 6 once.
Got
it. All right. Definitely got it. Okay. So he trusts you, and he still thinks that you fight. You fight for him, that he's still hiring you, even more importantly, right? That he still cares about you. And for some reason, he really takes a second and remembers this past corporate relationship he had. And he kind of comes out of the back of this dune area, walks up to you and says, "Bobby, come on. I thought you were supposed to come back sooner. What are you doing here now? Where's everybody else?"
Well, listen, we had a couple hiccups in the plan, I'll try to protect the operation and do what I can with my boys, but a couple of Yakuzas got eaten up, became lunch, became dinner, became an appetizer. But I'm smooth. I slide my way out of the situation and, maintain protecting the operation, doing what I'm supposed to do, being a good employee, being your boy. And along the way, I came across a couple alpaca I could kind of work with and kind of transition, kind of be our inside team, if you want to take a look. I'm in the process right here. You can see my girl here kind of transforming. You can kind of see it's like a half-half sort of hybrid and could possibly be something we can work with on the inside. I don't know.
Mira, Bobby. I understand, what you're telling me, but I need you to understand something from me first. I never meant for it to go down this way. The Yakuza and Montero have always been, tight. We've always been friends. More than that. But this has been too difficult, and something finally got out of our hands I wasn't expecting. These Pakash,
Yeah, well,
they grew at a faster rate than any of us ever expected, ever predicted. The Cheep was a success. I mean, damn, they can fly, right? I bet they didn't tell you that, right? They're still hiding it, right? They have little warships with them, ready to drop eggs from 30,000 feet. These chickens, these Cheep, they get up there. You can't let them take off. That's why they're always such friends. Right. Now, Bobby, you're still alive. Somehow, you got past the precaution in here. I had it out here as long as I can remember, at least a couple months, but really I don't keep track anymore. You know, I just try to stay out of their way. And after a while, they gave up, they left. They went prepping for those who will take their lands away from them, will fight them, the terrible chicken, and Bushel Terrible. Right? Seek him north if you wish to really uncover what he's doing, but I mean, you're out of this, man. Go home. Right? I know your past. You used to be part of this organization. One of them, anyway. There's so many agencies getting all our shit now. I can't keep track of them anymore. But for you, just get out. Right? Why be with them?
Yeah, okay. I didn't even think about it that way, and I appreciate that, boss. You know, it does seem like shit's hitting the fan. You know, it's getting kind of serious. I don't know. Maybe it is time I retire from this. You know, start thinking about Bobby. You know, my own safety. I'd be lying if I didn't say I kind of miss it. You know, I like working for you. You're a good boss. You're my boy. You know, I'm your boy. You know, it's kind of a mutual thing here. A little respect. So, I mean, I'm seeing you. It's kind of hurting seeing you living like this too. You're kind of feeling like the underground, like how I used to be back in the Big Apple before I dipped out. You know, I'm sure you can't get. You know what? Before I leave, I'm sure you can't get any top shelf here. Let me make you a drink, buddy. Let's get you a little something, a little top shelf. You know.
You know me so well, Bobby. Please, I would love a drink. Man, you know, I've been down here for so long, right? Usually, you know, we have a good time, right? And we're all the way out here and, you know, out in the middle of nowhere, but, yeah, at least it's the simple pleasures that keep you going. All right, I can always count on you, Bobby, for a beautiful drink.
Sure, yeah, bourbon on the rocks. Right, there you go. You just take a little bit.
Cheers.
And
And
as he hands him the drink, and as I see him taking the sip, I think that's when I'll kind of like click the radio a couple times in the back pocket, just kind of sending the signal like he's taking the drink. The eagle has landed.
Got it.
Sort of.
All right.
Yeah. No, go ahead, Baron.
I was gonna look over at Colby and say,
I think that's us. Let me get this damn makeup off.
You
I'm
look
not
better
going in
with
there
it
like
on,
this.
though.
Oh, I'm sure you would think that.
It's an improvement.
Trying to tell me. Oh, wow. Wow, Colby. You're telling me that an alpaca is more handsome than me. Now I know you're lying. Anyway, or whatever. I guess we'll go in like this. Let's do it.
and I just start through the hall.
Whereas Colby is like
Yeah.
skipping.
Oh yeah, like one of the little hopping ones.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw a TikTok of that the other day. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess as Edwin takes his first drink, Calliegh finally removes the rest of her face makeup. And she actually
Ooh.
looks like the real Calliegh, which none of the group have actually seen. So yeah, she looks like much like her picture. Her hair is like really short, like bobbed short, straight black. Well, hello there, Eddie. How are you doing? Do you remember me?
Oh, Callie, right? You're with what's his face? He used to work for me, but
Dr. Tilapia? Yeah. You know the man you
yeah,
sent me to kill?
the fish man. And then he kind of like takes a look out towards like an opening of the cave, and you catch like a hint of brine, a hint of salt water. You know, it's really near the coast. At this point, it is. You can see like the slightest hint of light, but it's very like dim. You know it to be like a moonlight, not really like a shining. It's not like a shining sunlight. It's definitely a night. Of course, but he had to go. I don't why did you come back here now? And Bobby, why are you with her? I don't understand. He starts kind of losing his composure. He's still drinking, but he's like getting angry and kind of flopping around.
Let's play it cool.
I want to pin him to the wall with some Doritos.
Okay, so roll. You. No, that's pretty easy to do, right? I mean,
yeah, so Esperero. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. So you use that quirk. You pin him to the wall. To these like this 4 rocky areas. I mean, and now we truly see the stopping power of your Doritos. These 45 caliber Doritos can actually put a hole through solid stone. Each of the 4 could, and they're deftly lodged in there. You have him up, and he's struggling, but he's starting to calm down.
I know Bobby has a lot of. I know Bobby has a lot of questions, so I'm just gonna ask one. Why did you send me to kill the doctor? For keeping people from eating a flu that you created?
Of course. He wanted out. Montero's #1 objective is to make sure that we stay in business and that nobody knows that we had anything to do with it at all. Now, I couldn't stand for that. He wanted to leak some of it. You were willing to help him. You were friends, but Montero's family. And once you're in, you don't stop being family. Because after all, nobody knows
just like the damn mafia.
Call it what you will, right? But we're corporate, institutionalized. We know what's going on.
The last I heard, Montero was still living it big. Bobby, is this how you treat family? She kind of like gestures around how he's been living. If you can do better for them.
I mean, it's not like I had a choice, right? I mean, look at me. I'm out here by myself. It's just how it went when they. Listen, you don't know what's happened here. There's been a war that we've been caught in the middle of. And sure, we created it. But we thought we'd be able to pit these people, these things, against other things that we had. We just want to consolidate power. He's like drinking. He's like, power is important because, and he's just really going off about why he needs to be in control.
Yeah, Bobby.
Lean into
Bobby will.
Colby.
The second Bobby sees him kind of reacting to the drink in that way, even before Baron cuts in, he's probably going to reach in, grab that drink, and say, "Hey, let me just top that off a little for you, boss." And he's going to whisper to the team, "He's about to black out. Ask your final questions here."
I'm going to lean into
kind
Colby
of taking the drink to keep him from finishing and blacking out. Giving the team the last few questions, hopefully, of a chance. I'm hoping.
Good idea.
Hey, You notice how he calls those people things? He's separating himself from them, dehumanizing. He knows very well they were people once, but yet he still wants to call them things. It's pathetic.
Yeah.
Is there to the team, not to Eddie? Is there any other questions you want to slide in before this dude blacks out? I don't know how much more he's going to hang on, and if there's any other pertinent information we need.
What do you
to
do
track
with the
down
cool
these people.
weirdos?
Whoa.
With the what? I'm
I
sorry.
think that escalated quickly. Hey, yo.
What did you do
Bobby's
with
gonna
the
back
Cool
off.
Ranch Doritos?
Baron,
He-
not important right
he-
now.
He looks off to his he looks immediately 1,000-yard stare, looks to his left, looks to a small metal box, a safe of sorts dug up in the sand near him. He's like, this is the only thing I got out, right? And he pulls it out of the sand, dusts it off, old little time capsule. Door comes off, and it's like the picture of his like mother, his wife, and his daughter, like his old wallet, his like family photos. But like when he's taking out some of the photos, you can hear a familiar crinkle, right?
Oh.
And
It's special
it turns
edition
out
foil.
to be, yeah, it turns out to be like a party size Cool Ranch Dorito like bag, right? Like
The party size foil is thicker because it has to maintain all of the chip goodness within.
yeah,
That's how
it was
I
it was a
recognized it.
it was a soda promotion too. So you're right, it is like special edition foil. This
got
is
extra
like the
paint on it.
ideal. This is more production value.
Yeah.
So
Ooh.
he's like, this is my prized possessions, and I'll never let you have it.
I'm going to take it anyway because I have. I don't care. It's mine now. It's mine.
You're just gonna take it
Taking
while
it,
he's
boom.
drinking. He's like
Roll
drunk
to
as hell,
take it.
like-
Roll to
You-
take.
no,
To
you're
take it.
no, you're able to take it with no issue. But now if you want to, you can roll a resistance roll or not. He's gonna lunge at you with fierce teeth, claw and fang, to try and hold on to this bag. And he's been in here so long, he's really forgotten what it means to stay true to his objective. Right? He's seen some horrors.
All right.
At the end of the day, some of these possessions are all he cares about.
Well, I'm going with my instinct here of survival.
Okay, of survival.
The
And,
Dorito
uh,
instinct. That
and I'm
Cool
doing it
Ranch
boldly.
instinct.
The Cool Ranch instinct, yes, that lies within.
Am I able to lend a hand at all? With him
Yeah, just
trying to
of
take
course,
this?
just describe like the approach that you want to use to lend a hand, and then like how do you want to help?
I think I'd probably try, change my tone to a little bit mouthy, trying to get Eddie a bit distracted, or at least pausing for a moment enough that then Baron can jack him before he can claw at him.
Yeah.
So I guess like if I see him grabbing the chips and I see Eddie lunging at him or something, I'd be like, whoa, 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 hey, Eddie, hey, why you gotta take things up a notch? Yeah, you have enough to share. Come on. Or just anything that
you
can be
distract
a little
him.
bit mouthy and yeah.
Yeah. So you distract him with your mouthiness, and you kind of takes him off, so he tilts his head already like in midair after the jump. So it definitely takes off his focus while he's there enough,
Got a 6.
that it helps. Right, and enough that this actually this distraction creates enough of a vacuum where, Baron, how do you resist this with using no appetite for getting that 6?
Yeah, I am going to sweep the leg. Basically, I do like the classic Mortal Kombat sweep the leg. I even let out that noise because my character classically trained American karate by some dude with a mullet, Which, funny. I have a mullet in real life. I don't. I'm making fun of it really, but anyway. So
So you do this vice maneuver,
and
right?
I catch the
you-
bag,
you-
obviously. falls.
Yeah, it's slow motion falls, but you move like in real time, and
Yep.
you're like, whoa, catch it, perfect.
I catch it, open it up, and take a bite, and all in one motion. And then my Tosta Espadero like Super Saiyan mode kicks in, and like this like tortilla based energy starts to emanate from me. And I say tortilla based as it smells like freshly cooked tortilla, but it's like really almost like kind of like Goku. But it's and then it dissipates as I swallow down the chip.
I've waited so long for this taste.
And it's this beautiful, delicious, but the corn, corn flavored Dorito, that happened, with the Cool Ranch, it just happens to be perfect. Chicken salt and a little bit
Yep.
of MSG, it's the ideal. It's so delicious, in fact, that we met our sub goal, and so everybody will be receiving one appetite, right, in case they'd like to do something more. In addition, the danger clock does decrease by 1, and he does retain a little bit of where he's at. Edwin, this lab coated member of the House Castillo, looks at Calliegh and says, he did his duty a little too well. You did too, but that's why we couldn't trust you. The other Montero members, they know that you're here, and they'll track you down. The Yakuza are not just in Latin America. Wherever you go worldwide, they'll find you. You can't go back to the States. Even in my cave, even in my isolation, I heard.
What exactly was his duty? What
I
part did
was
he play in
tasked.
creating this flu?
The flu in particular, I spent years figuring out different strains and experimenting with chickens and pigeons and crows and all manners of poultry, waterfowl, or other avian creatures. But after many years, I had perfected at least a fragment of what I knew could take the bird flu to a whole new level, to be a worldwide panini. It finally made it, and I thought that I'd get my just desserts, that Ray would shower me in land and territory and bonuses, vacation days, everything that a corporate exec like me, like I used to be, would want. But my last and final, most important project to secure Montero's profits in the New World Order was to create alternatives to the delicious but rare chog. I was thoroughly successful. A Cheep is like 600 times the weight of a single chog. A single Cheep could feed villages of fake chicken goodness for weeks even, as they regrow some of their feather wool laced with protein and breaks down in the stomach. They were perfect. The Pakash were meant to be their protectors in these mountainous regions. Unfortunately, they were just as efficient. Once they got a taste outside of the cages for the human flesh that they so craved, hating us, seeing us from afar, they knew that they needed to take their place as rightful rulers of this region and wrest control from Montero. The Yakuza were no match for them. And here we thought that by opposing the FDA, the USDA, or their lackeys, their conscripted goons, their puppets, here in LATAM, that we'd have dominion splitting the populace. The chickens would take the north, and we would take the south. Clearly, it did not work that way. The chickens conspire even now against Montero-affiliated units and USDA units. As well as in the south here, the Pakash destroying a single city, consuming many within it, and achieving a level of sentience that we didn't think possible. All from the same mutation. We weren't meant to play with the things that we have, but we did. And now there's no turning back. The war is on, and they will meet in the mountains of Quetzaltenango.
Where exactly?
I mean, that didn't really answer my question, but thanks.
Do
Do you
Do
want
you
me to
have
hit
all
him with a
this-
Dorito?
Not yet, not yet.
All right.
Did you have all
Sorry.
this information on a drive somewhere?
I mean, my terminal's right there. Can't hold. Like he's trying to resist. And he's like holding his hand back, like trying not to point at it as it starts to wear off a little bit. But
There you go, hey, boss.
okay.
If I topped off that drink like I said I would do, here you go.
He just goes right back to thank you, Bobby. Thank you. I love these drinks. And he just
I got your back.
He just goes at it.
Yeah,
What was
Colby is
Dr.
moving towards the
T?
terminal.
Role here in this facility.
Yeah, no, he just led the creation of one fragment of the bird flu, but then used that and gave it to Montero to do whatever they would with it. Ray really knows, but as to his part, he still used fragments of that virus to create these mutations with the Cheep that you see today, to create these bromophore muters or things that become what they eat, right, on demand.
Okay. Right.
Right.
Colby has pulled out a thumb drive from her bag and is downloading any of the data and information that she's able to about the bird flu, or just maps of the area, just anything that she finds that can be useful.
Yeah, so you find everything from points of interest of these different battles, these proposed battle locations. You find incriminating evidence for the USDA and the FDA for for overstepping their reach and toppling or having issues with governments and state institutions across the borders here in Latin America, Central and South America, right? As a combined territory.
Humans
it's
are
really
just the worst. I hate
yeah, it's
humans.
everything.
And
It's
she's
really everything you
typing
need.
as an alpaca, so
with the hooves but you're just small enough.
Yeah.
You're just fluffy enough that it makes perfect sense. You're really still
Sounds like you're
dexterous with-
heavily considering what I said earlier about turning into an alpaca and eating people to teach them a lesson. Getting a little closer.
the fall of the vegan. But we
The rise
we shall
Does
see.
anybody else have any more questions?
The rise
of
good
veganism.
sir?
If we got no more questions, let's just let's do a little cheers, boss, and finish them off, in celebration maybe, huh?
finish them off.
Looking at the team like,
yeah,
got to get him to black out so he doesn't remember this shit. That sort of look
Yeah,
like.
it's no
Cheers,
effect on
eh?
you, right? Yeah, and he's happy to do so, right? You cheers with him, and cups clink. He downs it, and within a second, he's flat on his back, T-posing in the sand. Right
Right before-
for what?
as my cheers though, like right before he passes out his, cheers and thanks so much, boss. Oh yeah, by the way, what's your social security number? And just collect them.
Collect them. Got a whole
And
book of them.
he's like, yeah, write this down. And he, 764, right? And he just goes down with it. Down the list until he gives you a full number. And you potentially have 2 really solid Montero codes, right? Clearance codes for if you find any Montero facilities later. So that could be, or if you want to sell them or use them for something.
Or just social security numbers. That's some low life shit, I imagine. I don't know. I need it.
just dark web
crime.
For my
Yeah, you
identity
just
theft
yeah,
shit,
so
I don't
you
know.
can sell them. Yeah, you can always sell them. Yeah, it's always a good,
I'm sure Colby can get you on the dark web. That's how her and her eco-terrorist friends communicate.
Nice. Yeah, it's a bit pointless, but I just can't help myself. You know what I mean? It doesn't help the case, but you know what I mean? I just can't help myself.
I don't blame you one
I
bit.
think we should keep him around. Bobby, stick with us.
think
Who,
so,
Bobby
too.
or Edwin?
Hey, the way I look at it,
No.
we're all criminals.
No,
So
no.
why not hang
At
out
this
with one?
point?
Hey, hold on a minute here. I'm not necessarily a criminal. Let's get
You
some
work with the
terminology,
fucking
right?
Yakuza. What? They're
I work
organized.
wherever.
Not all
Crime.
bad, man.
Literally
Just working, you know?
organized crime.
I mean,
You
potatoes,
said
potatoes.
that,
Hey, tomatoes, tomatoes.
You
Private
said that Edwin
security,
was already out.
Yeah, so he's passed out, T-posing on the sand, but he's not he's not dying, right? He's not hurt.
I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna. While they're discussing whether Bobby should join us and keep going with us, I'm gonna kneel down next to Edwin on the ground. And I'm gonna pull out my little cricket and just kind of stick it like under his armpit so nobody can really see it.
Oh, Lord, it's getting
And I'm just
dark.
gonna kind of like brush his hair aside, and
Oh my God, this is so dark.
I
Look at
would
the flowers.
say let Montero. I would say let Montero know that I'm coming. I think this will be enough of a sign, and I'm gonna shoot him right in the armpit with my 69 special.
And I had the thought in my head, like, go and kick him, and then I was like, no, that's too mean. I'm trying not to do that. And you're just like straight up, like,
in
Does
classic
Bobby see
Chew
that?
absurd.
Or is it sneaky?
Uh,
I mean, I imagine you hear it, right? We'd all hear it.
he's up, right? So you said the armpit. In classic Chew absurd fashion, he's sticking his hand out. You fire right through. Very, very quickly, a bullet pops out of his cranium, right, spilling gray matter. At the same, so it just goes right through, right, yeah, all the way up, right, maybe even enters through the neck a little bit, right, out past maybe for split second, as
bounces off a rib.
like as he goes limp a little bit, his arm comes down, and it kind of like makes like a little fart sound. One last fart sound with his arm. It had to be the armpit, right? And it's in truth his real death knell. So his rattle.
Whoa, did
well
we have
then.
to kill him?
That
What
was-
the hell? What are we doing here? You call me the criminal, right?
The order, the assassination of your fiance, who you ordered to kill, has now perished after devolving much of the information, but not all that he had.
They get a bit of history. It's a little bit beyond us. So, whatever.
It was.
He deserved it.
Sorry, this was personal. The fact that I'm not working with the FDA right now just made it perfect timing.
Well, remind me not to have any history or personal with you, all right? Yeah.
You can take the rest of his identity now.
And he won't be able
You
to
mean
fight
like
you
his
on it.
face? I've got a knife.
I
if
could
you're
give
talking
you
about
his
cutting
face.
off.
No, I meant like take his wallet.
I'm good with the face, Miss
sorry,
Leatherface here. I don't need
She
to
take his
pull some
face.
Ed Gein shit.
Sometimes, Colby, you say things and I misconstrue them. It's really on me.
You guys traveling around with frickin' Ed Gein over here, trying to take faces. and
Yeah,
shit.
it's
What are we
taking
doing?
his face. It's taking faces.
That's just what I thought.
Like a real life Leatherface. I
I
can't
mean, I
believe
can
this
give you
shit.
any face you want without taking faces.
Okay, yeah, I was like,
Um,
implication more that you're okay with the playing as well, or, if you use the makeup, depends, it could be interpreted either way.
Um,
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy
Happy
October. So with that, you do
Hoof the
hear
face.
the hooves of many Pakash rushing to this now not so hidden cavern with gunshots and yelling, right? Everywhere, snarling and growling from a ferocious man trapped too long in isolation after the loss of his company and his status, his reputation, his everything. Yeah, the Pakash, led again by Mugido 84 Fluffy 84, these alpacas who are bromoformitaires and you people finally reach you again in this cavern. Shoot a circle along, like you just heard, kind of trapping you in this particular area, and that's where we will leave off the session for now before moving on to some debriefing questions. We're not going to do the investigative phase this time, as there's still more to investigate, and I'd like to spend that time doing the debriefing questions, which I think are just as important. But next session will start the same way that this one did, at a crossroads and a potential firefight with gun-wielding mutated alpacas, right? Genetically
I've got
modified
50
alpacas.
caliber Doritos now. It's over with.
You do
And
have 50 calibers. They are.
the three of
yeah,
us
they're
also
50.
still have those guns. We have the same type of guns.
Everybody has
Oh,
guns,
guns
now,
are
so
alright.
everybody's gonna
I
pull
don't.
guns on everybody or had
don't.
access to guns at least. Yeah, and it's wielding, but there are guns on the floor. If anybody would like to wield them, so whoever
Mine
would
have
like
got
a gun,
a customized razor blade, I guess it says. Or-
you just pull
That is
that. You
awesome.
just pull the super sleek switchblade, which is a razor blade, and try to.
Oh,
geeks trying to
non-standard issue razor blades.
Like- It's like
So I
Terry
would like to
Crews'
think-
character in The Expendables. Is that pink razor blade? I don't know.
Well, I was thinking for the style of Bobby Bourbon, he would have kind of like a switchblade, but it would be like bladed on one side and comb on the other, so we could walk out and be like, well, if it would pop out. Because I've got it. Ooh,
All gummed up with hair gel.
yeah, all that, but he flips it out and fixes the hair.
Oh,
keep it with the
wow.
other side.
Oh my God.
So that'll be his little
That's
hidden
awesome.
gem, and it's nice.
Yeah,
it's pearl
combat
inlay.
position.
It's a classy switchblade comb combo, so I can look good while I'm shaking a homie or slicing them up.
You
But
always
that's
gotta
last
look
resort
good.
for that's last resort for Bobby Bourbon. I'd much rather get mouthy and talk my way out than have to slice someone up.
So, that's where it leaves off as the camera kind of pans out, as we'll pick this up again next week. So moving on to some of those debriefing questions, and we'll start with individual questions like usual. Did anybody deal with fallout from any harm that happened to them, a trouble that they invited or had to deal with, or their quirk, if there was any issues using their quirk, whether good or bad? If anybody
do you
feels like
Do you count where I've failed and got knocked unconscious and humiliated
yeah,
by the
for
explosion?
sure.
Okay.
For sure, yes. So that's definitely one experience for you, right? That one's definitely clear. Probably one of the funniest ways. Callie, you invited your trouble a bunch. That was probably pretty. That was pretty influential. I don't know. I'm still processing the death of this person. Every life goes out with a fart. Even Chu, right? Nothing is sacred.
I mean, I even
So
turned
it's
us all
the-
into alpacas.
Alpacas, yeah, disguised everybody. Yeah, so that there's definitely two already. Bobby, you definitely got that XP from your harm and your quirk, right? The drinking was a super huge part of the session, and you also got you failed that initial roll and you got 2 conditions, so you definitely dealt with some fallout there. It's definitely going to be a 1 XP for that. Colby or Baron.
So I get 1 XP on that XP track.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. For each of those, if you dealt with harm that happened to you, if you invited your trouble, or your quirk, you get 1 per. So that's at least 2 for you. And if anybody else have any fun ones they want to share there? No. All right. So,
yeah. Aside from quirk,
Yep.
I think my approaches, I tried to touch
Yes,
on all of them at least once.
exactly.
All 3.
So that's the next one. Did you embody 1 or more of your approaches this session? For each approach that you embodied, if you did at least each of the 3 unique ones once, you get 3 XP. You get 3 XP total. But pretty big, pretty big benefit for playing your character with the traits that you had picked prior. And it's one of the things I love about character creation here. So you used cool, you used mouthy, and the other one was corn dog. What was the corn dog for?
I can't remember, but I remember at one point changing the mood of something and saying, "Sorry, I'm just a corn dog" or something.
I'm a corn dog.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what it
corny.
was,
That's nice. No,
You said
that's great.
something.
So that's 3. Gotcha. Colby, Baron, Calliegh, any cool usages of your approaches? There were plenty this session.
Tough Cookie and Bold, definitely I used both of those. So I went and gave myself XP for both those. Bold whenever I on the whole group at the beginning, whatever. And then it was Tough Cookie was when I was trying to assert dominance.
Yeah, I love that. I thought that was such a perfect use of it. Especially you're a rogue agent, so you're being ballsy, taking out a badge that wasn't yours before you already got blacklisted. The day after you got reinstated, right? So that's hilarious how that works out. For sure, right? So that you got those, Calliegh, Colby.
Yeah, I think
Uh-huh.
Calliegh especially used her upper crust, especially at the beginning, trying to deal with the alpaca, not to shoot and kill us, just trying to keep that classy, cool-headed, polite going. And
I just love the
probably when it
duality.
came to the Edwin would probably be her sucker.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because
Sucker.
criminals
How?
tend to the description is you're a criminal's wet dream, and I have a feeling that she uses that a lot when it comes to dealing with Edwin.
And so, you were able to really, between the drinking and the sucker, right? You were able to really kind of have him tell you everything, right? About what the chickens are, what Montero was doing there, how he came to be in a position of power, why your fiance had to die, and you're really finally in a position to really understand the geopolitical situation of this post-Panini bird flu LATAM and the imminent war that's happening in the mountains and jungles of this area. Ridiculous for sure. I'm pretty sure all 3 approaches were used there, so those are 3. All right. So we're moving on to Colby. Did any real fun ones for the approaches?
Yeah, I mean, I think she used her conspiracy nut one, definitely with trying to end the first scientist because she didn't want him to spill information, and then getting the data from the computer for the second one, just because there's more going on here.
Yeah, so you're probably the only logical one who was really like, hey, can we take verifiable evidence back rather than just hey, we drugged this dude and we in the back of his cave house and asked him a bunch of questions.
In my defense,
and then shot him.
I
in the
did ask
armpit.
Colby and Baron to do. I did ask Colby and Baron to do just that. They just chose not to.
It worked out great.
Not very
Release
reliable.
the rats.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're
She
like,
has
"I
like
might as well shoot
vegan
him."
shit to do because or whatever, whatever that is, which is like super important. And then my
No,
character is too busy. He's got too much Dorito dust on his hands to be collecting evidence.
especially
Alright.
now, like you have the ancient crust, the ancient dust on your hands, like the
Oh my god, yes,
the
it's gonna be great.
the truly lickable dust.
I'm switching to a
Yeah,
keto
no, so
diet, so I won't be able to eat chips anymore on stream. So this was the last night.
nice, nice. I'm glad that we could get you the mythical Cool Ranch.
I
On
still
this
might
very
buy
special
a
events.
little tiny bag of ranch just to like wield as a prop and then pay afterwards.
Travel size? Yeah, it's your
Yeah.
your travel size bag. I like
Yep.
that prop. Did anybody advance or resolve a conspiracy or investigation?
Hell
So
yeah, we found out who the
there were
hell
many.
created the freaking flu. Like,
All right.
that's
So
fucking
let's actually
huge one.
let's actually take stock of how many, right? So we had bird flu, right? Bird flu evidence, right? That's probably one of the largest, if not the largest, conspiracy in Chew, right? With some additional information. You had Calliegh finally figuring out. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Calliegh figuring out the
About-
fiance. Yeah, the fiance shtick and how how that person died, and how Dr. Tilapia finally he
And we get
perished.
these as a group, right?
Yeah, exactly. You get them as a group, right? So all of these, everybody would get one on. You have some additional knowledge of the FDA and the USDA working together as a potential reason
so far.
or background behind the blacklisting, right? Because they're trying to cover up their tracks or push their ideals over country lines. So man, so that's
The USDA providing the cybernetics that are in the chicken army or in the terrible
chickens.
chicken.
Yep. So where the chickens came from
Okay, yeah.
and what they're up to. What the you found out originally what the Pakash did, because we didn't do that from last time. You found their flesh pits they were eating. They were bromoforming hairs. I mean, it's straight up going to be like 6 XP just for these group questions. So quite a number of investigations were advanced here, and even in the case of some of them, concluded in terms of Calliegh. I mean, like there was a finite fart that really ended that person.
Cool. I leveled up. That's something we're gonna have to talk about between sessions. Is leveled up into
Yeah.
sidekick. That's gonna be something you and I are gonna have to get together on.
Exactly.
What my sidekick is.
It's like,
Oh my fucking god! I've got an idea. I've already got an idea.
Oh, no.
It's like it's like a little robot that was basically like some Dorito swag, some Dorito swag that was like you could win from like submitting X number of like Dorito points or whatever, kind of like some Marlboro swag that you can stick in like a mail order catalog. But it's like
It just says
it's a
Supreme,
little
but it's-
robot that's been like modified with aftermarket robotics, and so it's actually like a sidekick now. It's a little Dorito bot. Yep. All right. Dorito bot 5000.
What is your purpose? I am Dorito. Oh my god.
Exactly. All right. We'll talk about Dorito bot 5000 in between sessions. I'm gonna shut up.
That's a good one. If any new connections or ones were made or deepened, I think Bobby is the obvious one, right? That was created, for everybody here. And the other one that I can think about is also Calliegh using the flashback to connect with Edwin, and really confirm her suspicion regarding Dr. Tilapia's involvement. That's at least 2. And can everybody think of any other connection that was made or deepened here?
I think
I would say
with the Pakash probably deepened our connection.
deepen the relationship with the Pakash, right? Have a
further
tentative
proof
alliance.
That we were, exactly.
Yeah.
That we're
A
trustworthy.
tentative alliance. Okay. All right. An additional 3 there. So that's 9 XP total, just for the group questions for this time. And finally, a super important fun part. Would you like to commend or reprimand any of your fellow agents for a fun time? Even if you reprimand, you'll still get 1 XP. And commendations the same. It's just fun ways to kind of give like little medals, for what, and then the reasoning for maybe something cool that you thought that someone did that you really liked. And you can give multiple ones, but you know.
All right. I want to give
so
one to everybody.
Bobby. Oh yeah. You know,
Yes.
I
Communism.
specifically
One
want to
for
call
everyone.
out just how well Bobby Bourbon did. Like complete like character and world building aspect of just like having the drinks and like leaning into every single one of his like perks and attributes and whatnot. Like I felt like he did that really well.
Bobby was
Thanks.
instantaneously
Even
a
though
very real character.
even as confused as I was getting into it, I was trying.
Down the
That's
rabbit
all
hole.
of us.
No,
I want to
that-
commend
yeah.
commend Calliegh for doing a murder. And it was a good murder, very dramatic murder. That's about all I could say. Really.
Job for doing murder.
He shot
Yeah,
good. No,
plus 1
shooting
point
good
for
is a good-
murder.
Shooting good is a good one.
That's funny.
But it was dramatic murder. It was like meaningful murder. It wasn't just like, oh well, looks like Baron hit a guy with a Dorito and cut his head off again. Dang. But it was like, all right, this person has to do with my backstory. This is like personal, you know. This is personal, it said.
Yeah, literally, yeah, exactly. It is.
That was good.
Um,
And then I would also like to
Calliegh-
give one to Colby Jack, because the person who played Colby Jack produced the show while also playing Colby Jack. And I feel like it's worth
Definitely-
an XP.
definitely deserves XP. It's very difficult to do. So that's very sweet. Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much again, Sam. Bobby and Calliegh, would you like to commend or reprimand any of your fellow agents?
I want
Yeah,
to commend
thank-
everybody, like
Yeah,
Bobby,
okay,
for
let's do it.
like the bring,
Let's do it.
like what Sam said, like bringing out the drinks. Like, hero, you want to write Russian? Oh, I actually have a hero. You want a beer? Here you go. And it's just like
I've
it's like
been
being
eating
into it,
Doritos.
even yeah, and like in just like being into it, even as confusing as this game can be, because a lot of questions we don't even have the answers to give him the answers. He did really good. Baron, for his Doritos, he finally got his Cool Ranch Doritos.
It's a
And
huge,
that's a
Colby
huge
Jack,
moment.
for instead of collecting evidence, she freed the rats, as Colby Jack would do. So I like how everybody
collected
really
evidence.
like, stayed true.
And free the rats. So was that
And
And
freed
free
the
the
rats.
good.
Even
But, but that works out better than everybody. I mean, everybody wins. And Bobby. So yeah, everybody who gets a commendation, or a reprimand gets, and for each person that commended or reprimanded them gets an additional XP point. So just keep track of how many you've been given so far. And Bobby, how about you?
I really like the, Calliegh tying in the past story or whatever. Kind of
Mhm.
like uncovering that information by, I forget what it was called, the attribute or the, was it an approach or was it, where you had
It
the
was an
flashback?
approach.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that was a
thought
perk.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought that was clever to at least uncover kind of what was going on with the hit. Obviously, it left to a big climactic moment. So I thought that was a good sort of a setup for a climactic moment. I thought Colby being smart enough to grab physical evidence was a good idea. Because Bobby Bourbon would definitely be more word of mouth, in character. So I thought that was smart for the team. And then Baron, I had like the, just the Dorito play. Being able to kind of lend a hand to make sure he gets the 50 caliber was important to Bobby. Because right off the bat, I saw the peacocking with it, the threatening with them, the throwing them. And I don't know, just to dive into it and be that, he just seemed like the assassin of the group, even though Calliegh kind of pulled the trigger. But I liked it. That was cool. So.
Man, that
It's
is
funny you say
a
that, 'cause
ton of XP.
Yeah, I leveled up
Awesome.
twice. I got a sidekick and a show off perk. So I'm good.
Yeah, and if you can even like write your own and stuff, so even if there's anything in particular you'd like to make afterwards, that'll be a lot of fun to kind of decide, what you'd like to make particular to your character. So that'll end our session for tonight, everyone. Now we'll take us to outros. This has been another wonderful Friday doing Chew with everybody. We'll see you in Guatemala next week. My name is Anthony, and you can find me on Twitter at Prainntheplague. I'm here every Friday playing Chew at 8:30, and I also usually do a lot of One-Shot Wednesdays, so keep an eye out for that. For some spooky sci-fi One-Shot Wednesdays coming up here in October, or again, Chewtober, and remember to choose Chew Day, Tuesday as your Chew Day for this upcoming Kickstarter. Make sure to give them a follow beforehand so you can notify when it comes out, and keep up with the Facebook group to see what's going on with the different comics. Exactly. Oh.
No, I was going to interject, and don't forget. Hopefully, you'll be running some Fallout 2D20 over on Cyberpunk Uncensored.
Ooh,
sometime in the
so
future.
spoilers. I am going to be running some fun sessions. I'm a huge fan of like single class parties in more traditional fantasy games. So I'm going to be doing that with Fallout 2D20 to test some of the mono parties that game can make, and that sounds like a lot of fun. We'll be doing one session for each one, like robots and super mutants and ghouls and vault dwellers, and see how that. Yeah, exactly. Literally, just talking about it makes me puts a smile on my face. Exactly.
Did you mention ghouls? Are you gonna
Wow,
be
it's
some
literally a
ghouls
ghouls
over
right
there?
there.
All right, cool.
So keep an eye out. Really happy to be with Cyberpunk Uncensored on Fallout, on Chew. Keep an eye out for maybe even other Fallout stuff coming up in November, right? So keep an eye out for that. Doing some charity here. Sorry for taking so much time here, but we'll go back. So we'll start with the amazing ScribblingPenny and Colby Jack Sam.
Okay, gosh. Do this right. I want chicken on my face.
Chicken. Get the chicken out of the way.
Chicken face. Nom, nom, nom. You're eating it from the wrong end.
I don't eat chicken very often, so there we go.
Exactly.
Yep.
Hello. I am Sam, ScribblingPenny Scribbles. I am the community manager of Weave the Tale, the Penny for a Tale network. Do a little bit of everything. Anything that went wrong tonight was probably my fault, with random dice and all that kind of stuff.
Amazing tech.
Nah, it's good. Usually you could catch me on Sundays playing Pathfinder 2E on the Penny for a Tale channel. This Wednesday I will be playing more Pathfinder over on Recall Knowledge here on Twitch. We will be playtesting the new classes that have just came out, including the Psychic and the Thermagurg, the Thermaturg. I don't know. However you say that. that thing. And yeah, I'm also running various one-shots, doing interviews, just anything within the TTRPG community, because I absolutely love it. But yeah, that's me.
Amazing. Always so hardworking. Thank you so much again. And next off, we will go with LeopoldTheJust playing Baron Hamm.
Oh, yeah, unmute myself. That'd be good. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay? All right.
Indeed. Perfect.
I am Leland / LeopoldTheJust. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at LeopoldTheJust. I post a lot about what I'm up to. I don't have a Twitch channel, but I'm on a lot of people's Twitch channels, so I don't know. I'm like on Twitch a lot without actually being on Twitch myself. I don't have any other shows right now other than this one, but I am going to be running a show on Wednesday nights, like 9 p.m. Central. I'm going to be running a Zweihander show. That's going to be obviously horror themed because that's just who I am as a person. So, but it's probably going to be like horror comedy more than anything, knowing
Wink.
who I'm getting to be
Wink.
players.
Usually I play chefs. This time,
yeah.
Keep an eye out with that Zweihander.
Oh yes, I'm gonna be getting Anthony here as a guest, some sort of villain capacity. Well, if I can help it. So that's gonna be kind of fun too. But anyway, that should be good. Zweihander's fun. I don't know if you've ever played it, but it's good stuff. Come check. Oh, and I got nothing else. Oh yeah, check out Dark Veil on Kickstarter. Boom.
Boom. um, Dido and Calliegh.
Hello, I am Dido. You can catch me on Monday nights on Swindler's Den, where I play a half-orc druid, and we're getting near the end. We're getting close to our big bad guy. She's been having this nemesis fight with this genie Afridi, so that's about to come to a close, so that's fun. And then on Wednesdays, I'm also on Swindler's Den, where I play a pirate who just left her party for dead and they didn't actually die. So the fallout for that is coming up in the next session. Should be fun.
Awkward.
Yeah. And then on Saturdays you can catch me on Party Wipe, where I play a cleric who is nice and sweet, and all she can do is heal people. She doesn't know how to fight.
Prevents party wipes on Party Wipe.
It does.
Awesome.
It does actually prevent party wipes.
I love how that works out. Awesome. Yeah, always with the fantastic content. And of course, last but not least, Cyberpunk Uncensored playing Bobby Bourbon.
Hey, yeah, I'm GM Rob Mulligan, the founder of Cyberpunk Uncensored, and we have all kinds of gameplay, series, tutorials. You can check out cyberpunkuncensored.com if you want free assets to help your gameplay. Right now, it's very Cyberpunk Red focused. We're getting ready to launch a bunch of Fallout assets and Dune assets. I currently run, every week, I run Cyberpunk Red for Sirenscape. You can go to Sirenscape's Twitch channel every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard. I'm the GM for that. And then every Friday at 12 noon, the Overseer on Fallout 2D20 on the Mad Queen Show YouTube channel. If you know who Mad Queen is, check that out. And then I'm here every Friday where I get to play. And then on Tuesdays, I get to play with my buddy GM Brandon Perkins from the Realm Smith. He is Overseer on Fallout 2D20 on the Cyberpunk Uncensored channel. I get to play a super mutant. And then I run like 3 or 4, I think 4 monthly teams for Cyberpunk Red ongoing and 1 Cyberpunk Red one-shot that we do monthly. So Cyberpunk Uncensored on Twitch and YouTube, tons of gameplay content. And I'm always looking to play more and GM more. So if I can fit it in my schedule, I will. If you have an open seat at your table, you want me to run a game, play, or whatever, I'm always down, so hit me up.
Fantastic. The Cyberpunk is hype. It's definitely become a bastion of Cyberpunk content, which you love to see it. Thank you so much again to Imagining Games for a very special Chewtober. We wish them a lot of luck in their first week here as the Kickstarter ramps up on Chew Day, Tuesday. And thank you again for We the Tale to hosting us on this amazing show. See you all next week.